Yes, this is a devil fruit that will definitely attract countless forces to compete for it when it is placed on the market. Khan first gave Robin a thumbs up, and then pretended to be amazed. When I first eavesdropped on this information, I couldn't believe it. Unexpectedly, it has become a legend in the Devil Fruit illustrated book. Qinghai has not appeared for many years. Among the 3 series of devil fruits, Logia thunderfruit, which is also one of the invincible abilities, turned out to be reborn to 10,000 meters sky island above. Thunderfruit? It turned out to be thunderfruit? Hearing Khan's words, the 3 Boya sisters, who didn't have a deep understanding of devil fruit, were only slightly taken aback. And Robin's beautiful eyes widened for a while, looking at the devil fruit in Hancock's hand in great surprise. Sister Robin, does thunderfruit have any abilities? Seeing that Robin, who was usually extremely calm, suddenly showed this appearance, Mary couldn't help asking curiously. Hancock and Sonia also cast suspicious glances at Robin. Robin took a deep breath, and slowly popularized to the 3 Boya sisters. Devil fruit is divided into 3 categories, namely Paramecia, Zone and Logia. Among them, there are also classifications in Paramecia and Zone, such as Master's Devil Fruit, which is Zone, Dragon Fruit, Phantasmal Beast, and Dragon Form, which are rarer than Logia. Among the 3 types of devil fruit, only Logia has no classification. Because Logia is recognized by the Devil Fruit illustrated book, and even in all popular science books on the market as the strongest type among the 3 series of devil fruits. Each Logia represents a certain natural element between heaven and earth. Among the natural elements between heaven and earth, lightning is always the top one, and it is also one of the most feared natural disasters for human beings. So, whoever eats the Logia thunderfruit will be able to master the power of lightning between heaven and earth. After finishing speaking, Robin looked at the devil fruit in Hancock's hand, and slightly sighed. Just like what the master said, even among the 3 series of devil fruit, Logia thunderfruit is one of the invincible abilities. Hiss. Robin's popularity is very detailed. Even the 3 Boya sisters, who didn't know much about devil fruit, could hear it clearly, and knew better what kind of treasure the devil fruit thrown by the master was. Sonia and Mary gasped in shock. Although Hancock didn't lose her composure, her hands holding Logia thunderfruit trembled slightly. I just felt that the things in my arms suddenly became extremely heavy. The preciousness and value of Logia thunderfruit made the proud Hancock feel unconfident about himself. He looked at Khan and asked, "Master, do you really want to give me such a precious devil fruit?" Certainly. Seeing through people's hearts and seeing Hancock's lack of self-confidence, Khan stepped forward, put his hand on Hancock's head, rubbed her G hairstyle vigorously, and said with a smile, "Robin, Mary and I are all capable people. That's it, you and Sonia are the only ones left who are not capable. The reason why I didn't give you the Paramecia Jiancheng fruit yesterday is because you are the most talented person among us. When I was 12 years old, I didn't even master the 2-color hockey. With your talent, only the top devil fruit is suitable for you. Only the top devil fruit can stimulate your potential the fastest. As long as you eat the Logia thunderfruit, you will have the strength to protect my sister and the ability to repay me." After speaking, Khan pinched Hancock's most beautiful face in the future world, which now looks delicate and cute. I see. Hearing Khan's last words, Hancock's complexion suddenly became firm. As the master said, only by gaining great power can she protect her sister and repay the master's kindness. However, Khan's life-saving grace, as well as the investment in her sister and her, also made the innocent Hancock, like Robin, believe that Khan is the master of her life. Unknowingly, the heart was also pinched into its own shape by Khan. Unless Khan ruthlessly kills Sonia and Mary, or designs them to be killed by Hancock. Otherwise, I believe that even after 30 years, Hancock would not be willing to leave Khan's side. In Hancock's heart, the balance between Daughter Island and Master has completely tilted towards Khan. So, Hancock looked at Khan seriously, and said the same words as his sister, "Master, I will not let you down." After saying that, Hancock held the Logia thunderfruit, opened his mouth and bit off a piece of fruit. Knowing that the taste of devil fruit is very unpalatable, when Hancock chewed the pulp in his mouth, he just frowned slightly. Zzz. After swallowing the pulp, Hancock threw away the remaining fruit in his hand, and began to feel the changes in his body. After a few seconds, an astonishing number of blue and white electric snakes suddenly flashed from Hancock's body. The ear-piercing electric sound scared Mary and Sonia back a few steps, rubbing their bodies vigorously with both hands. Almost at the moment when the electric snake appeared, Sonia and Mary had goosebumps all over their bodies. Good. What a powerful ability. Hancock, whose body was shining with blazing electric light, was also full of shock at this time. She raised her hands, first looked at the palms that were surrounded by electric snakes, and then looked at the balcony of the suite, tremblingly said, is this Logia thunderfruit, the invincible ability? Sister. What is your ability? Hearing this, Sonia and Mary subconsciously wanted to step forward and ask. But when they saw the lightning around Hancock, they stopped immediately, chose to stand behind Khan, looked at Hancock with a surprised face, and asked. Pulled back to his senses by his sister's voice, Hancock said excitedly, I haven't figured out the specific ability yet, but the perception range of my observation hockey has skyrocketed countless times in an instant. And my observation hockey can also eavesdrop on external conversations like a master, and the consumption is negligible. Hiss. Both Sonia and Marie were too shocked to speak. Robin said calmly. It seems that Logia thunderfruit also possesses invisible powers similar to telekinesis, which can increase observation hockey to the greatest extent. Ah. I read the Devil Fruit illustrated book when I was a child, and this should be one of Logia thunderfruit's basic abilities, electric wave. Khan nodded. Rumbling. On the vast white sea, in the cloudless sky at this time, suddenly there was a thunderbolt that even the residents of Burka Island not far away could hear. But when the residents of Burka Island looked up at the sky, they found that the sky was still sunny and there was not even a single dark cloud. It was like a thunderbolt from the blue just now, like an auditory hallucination. In fact, this is not an auditory hallucination. If someone is on the coast of the southern area of Burka Island at this time, if they look at the sky above the sea, they will see a blue and white light appearing out of thin air in the sky at this time, forming a huge light cluster. On the surface of this blue and white light group, there are also a large number of large or small, thick or thin electric snakes, beating constantly. If you look closely, you will find that this blue and white light group is formed by lightning. The thunder just now was the sound effect produced when the blue light group turned into a huge blue-white beam of light and blasted towards the pure white sea. Boom! Under the deafening thunder, a huge hole was blasted out by the beam of light on the endless white sea. This hole is enough for a 100-meter-long medium-sized sailboat to enter and exit smoothly. And after the huge hole appeared, there was indeed a blue and white medium-sized two-masted sailing ship that defied gravity and fell down, passed through the hole, and landed in the White Sea at an altitude of 7,000 meters. This sailing ship is the Grandine. The blue-white beam of light just now is Hancock's masterpiece, and it is also Enel's best move in the original book, God's Judgment. What a terrifying destructive power, is this the power of Logia? Looking up at the huge hole in the sky, both Sonia and Mary were amazed. Robin, as if recalling something, said with a slight haze in his beautiful eyes, it's normal, because Hancock's Logia thunderfruit is one of the top natural elements, no less than the three most famous monsters in Naval Headquarters now Vice Admiral, even more comprehensive than their Logia abilities. Good. Khan nodded and echoed. The reason why Logia thunderfruit is called the legendary ability and invincible ability in various popular science books, is because of its comprehensiveness, incomparable. Logia thunderfruit has four basic abilities, namely electric heat, electric wave, electric field, and electrotherapy. Electric heat can strengthen the attack of lightning and can quickly melt the metal it touches. Radio waves can enhance perception, and can also cooperate with electric fields to shield the signal of phone bugs. Not to mention the electric field, it can turn Hancock into lightning, ignoring the teleportation of all obstacles. Electrotherapy is a life-saving magic skill. As long as the head and heart are not blown, the life can be saved. Furthermore, these four abilities are just the basic abilities of Logia thunderfruit. After Hancock becomes stronger, he can use these four basic abilities to create more extended skills, and even those who have developed thunderfruit abilities in the past. The new ability that can't be achieved defines it as the fifth basic ability. Aha! Hancock nodded repeatedly. With the help of Khan's knowledge of the time traveler, Hancock found his own growth path in less than a day. Likewise, Hancock took less than a day. Relying on his talent and Khan's guidance, he developed the God's Judgment capable of fixed-point strikes, as well as lay metallurgy and other abilities. In Hancock's hand now, he held a stick made of gold. This is her weapon. Gold conduction. Hancock uses the gold rod to release the power of lightning, which will be much faster than without the gold rod. And this golden rod will not hinder Hancock's daily life. When not in use, she would use lay metallurgy to turn the golden stick into a wrist or protective gear. While chatting, the Grandine had crossed the 7,000-meter White Sea again and landed towards Qinghai. Master, where are we going next? After the Grandine landed back on the sea, Robin had calmed down, returned to his usual appearance, and asked. Khan, who has been paying attention to Robin, knew that she was recalling the Ohara destruction just now, raised his hand and touched Robin's head, looked at the Saboti archipelago, to be precise, in the direction of Redline, lied and said without blinking, although Hancock, you and Mary have both become capable users, but you are still too weak now. However, when I was in West Blue, I overheard a piece of information from an undercover agent of a CP organization. If that information is true, I might have a way to save you more than 10 years of hard work and directly obtain powerful power. And the key to that information is in the second half of the Grand Line. After a slight pause, Khan raised his mouth and said, so, our next stop is, New World. Whether it is Robin or the three Boya sisters, it is incredible that Khan can help them save more than 10 years of hard work. However, they didn't want to talk too much when they saw Khan, and they didn't break the casserole to ask the end. Instead, they were full of expectations for the upcoming trip to New World. So, after returning to Qinghai, the Grandine headed straight for the Red Line. In less than a week, the Grandine returned to the Saboti archipelago. But this time back to Saboti archipelago, Khan and his gang did not stay long. After a simple resupply, Khan wrapped the Grandine with telekinesis, soared directly into the sky, and entered New World by flying over the Red Line. I have to say that no matter which world you are in, flying is an extremely convenient ability. Those who can fly are always more threatening than those who cannot fly. And people who can make objects fly are extremely threatening and dangerous elements in the eyes of the world rulers. Golden Lion, Kaido, and Khan are such existences. Especially Golden Lion, his Paramecia lion fruit, can fly with the archipelago. In the eyes of marine and world government, Golden Lion's ability, just like Whitebeard's Paramecia shock fruit, has the power to destroy the world. If it weren't for the rudder sticking out of his head, the Golden Lion's conqueror's haki would have been chipped away. In the deep sea prison, both legs were cut off, and the unparalleled dual swordsmanship was also cut off. Golden Lion doesn't need to live in seclusion at all, nor will he be surpassed by his little brother Kaido, nor will he be left far behind by his former companions Whitebeard and Charlotte Linlin. It's a pity that there is no if. Just because Kaido was against Luffy, in less than a month, he witnessed the miscellaneous fish being killed by himself with a single stick, and defeated him through continuous hacking. As a legend of the previous era, Golden Lion lost because he was against the Son of Destiny of the previous era. Going against the Destiny Child is what will happen to Golden Lion and Kaido. The Grandine flew over the Red Line and no one knew about it. The major forces in the world only know the walking natural disaster, which has entered the Grand Line from West Blue. But their intelligence capabilities were unable to trace Khan's location. Those with great energy in the black market only know that Khan appeared in the capital of Seven Waters some time ago, and bought the auction house information of Saboti archipelago. But when they received this information and mobilized the Saboti archipelago's eyeliner, Khan had already left with Robin and the three Boya sisters. Since Khan's telekinetic power is similar to Golden Lion's Paramecia lion fruit, his whereabouts are difficult to locate. Therefore, no one knows that Khan, who has only entered the first half of the Grand Line for about a month, has already entered the strongest sea in the second half. Master, this is the record pointer of New World. After entering the New World, the Grandine did not fall back to the surface of the sea, but continued to fly forward. On the deck, Robin took out the New World record pointer and wanted to hand it to Khan. No need. Khan waved his hand, and said to Mary, who was not far away, Mary, take out the box containing the eternal pointer. Yes, master. Mary, who was exercising, trotted over immediately, opened a door on her petite body, took out a wooden box, and handed it to Khan. Taking the box with one hand, Khan rubbed Mary's hair vigorously with the other. Mary squinted, enjoying Khan's head pat. Among the three Boya sisters, except for the second sister, Sonia, who is a big-headed baby and has an average appearance, both Hancock and Mary have extremely high appearance. In fact, if Khan cuts off Paramecia sweet fruit and successfully finds Logia thunderfruit, he actually planned to give Paramecia sweet fruit to Mary and Paramecia city fruit to Sonia. Unfortunately, Paramecia sweet fruit did not appear in this auction. Khan can only change his mind and give Sonia and Mary the fruit of Paramecia. Now in the convoy, only Sonia is left who is not capable. Khan has already decided what devil fruit to prepare for Sonia. After helping them open the hook, and after they had stabilized their position in New World, Khan went to find that devil fruit to come out, making Sonia one of the top cadres of the Cross family. After pinching Mary's little face and telling her to go back to practice, Khan opened the box in his hand, and took out a glass ball from the 7 eternity pointers that skyrocketed to 12. This glass ball is fitted with a wooden frame, like an hourglass. The base of the wooden frame is written with a line of English letters. Dressrosa. After reading out the translation of this line of letters, Robin asked, Master, are you going to this country for the next stop? What? Putting the eternity pointer on the table, Khan nodded and said, this country will be the headquarters of the Cross family in New World. Dressrosa. Robin read the name again, and said slowly, if I remember correctly, this country is one of the franchise countries, and you, Master, have a bounty of up to 300 million Baileys. The strongest supernova in history. If you occupy this country, the world government will definitely not sit idly by. As if hearing the reminder in Robin's words, Khan raised his mouth slightly and said, "So, this will be a game between me and the world government, and even naval headquarters. In fact, this is a bigger game. As a time traveler, Khan doesn't have a deep understanding of the new world. The few islands that impressed him the most were Punk Hazard, Dressrosa, Zo Island, Wangwo, Wanokuni, where the Straw Hat Pirates had arrived, and Egghead Island, which is still unknown. Among these islands, Punk Hazard is the territory of the world government and marine, Zo is the territory of the Fur Clan, and Wangwo and Wanokuni are the territories of the two monsters. If Khan doesn't make a move, Dressrosa will also be Doflamingo's territory in a few years. But now, it is almost impossible for Doflamingo to get Dressrosa. Because Khan was on the lookout first. Khan is not ignorant of the islands other than the ones the Straw Hats sailed to. For example, the Beehive Island ruled by Blackbeard in later generations, the Kale Bali Island ruled by Buggy, etc. But Khan had no interest in those islands at all. The reason why he will focus on Dressrosa is because this island has two treasures he wants. One is the adjacent Greenbit, which hides the little people. And among the little people, there is Man Shweli who ate the Paramecia healing fruit. The second is Violet, the second daughter of King Riku of Dressrosa, who has the ability of Paramecia. Whether it is Paramecia healing fruit or Paramecia staring fruit, they are Paramecia's top abilities. The former can heal all injuries of living organisms, even if the limbs and arms are broken. If the ability user sacrifices a little lifespan, it can be restored to its original state. The latter possesses ultimate's perspective and farsightedness. Perspective can not only penetrate all objects, but can even see through people's hearts. As for hyperopia, you can see pictures within a radius of 4,000 kilometers. What is the concept of 4,000 kilometers? 4 million meters. The clairvoyance that can see 4 million meters away, even if the perception range of Khan and Hancock is combined, is not even qualified to lift shoes. There is no doubt that if you can get the effects of these two people, you will get two treasures that are more valuable than the Golden Town. Shirley and Violet are also family members chosen by Khan. Dressrosa, Khan is bound to win. However, it is still a little difficult to obtain this country and turn it into the stronghold of the Cross family. Of course, the reason for the difficulty is because of insufficient strength. If Khan is strong enough, there is no need to take the threat of world government and marine seriously. Next, Khan has his hands full. As I said before, no one knew that Khan entered New World in about a month. But soon, all the major forces in the Grand Line, and even ordinary pirates in New World, knew that the strongest supernova in history, who had been offered a reward of 300 million Baileys before entering the Grand Line, had already entered New World. Because the New World is so small, except for the losers who escaped New World, and the weak who dare not enter New World, few pirates will develop in the first half of the Grand Line. When they enter the Grand Line, they will only continue to go to islands to fill up their magnetic power, and finally get through Saboti Archipelago and the Fishmen Island, and come to New World. Only in the first half of the Grand Line, those pirates can experience the passion of adventure. But after entering the New World, most of the pirates can no longer take risks like the first half. Those who don't know how to go to Raftel, after coming to New World, their original dream of finding the great secret treasure will be affected by the environment here, and gradually become the ambition of fighting for hegemony. Marine, which rules the 4 seas in the first half of the Grand Line, is no longer the biggest overlord in this sea area. As long as they don't attack those allied countries, world government and naval headquarters will turn a blind eye to the behavior of pirates, just like the lawless area of Saboti Archipelago. Therefore, this sea area is a paradise for pirates, and the real strength comes first. All pirates who come to this sea area will try their best to occupy an island as their base camp. If the strength is not enough, then the weak and the weak join forces, or the strong and strong join forces to form a large or small pirate alliance. The pirate alliance is very rampant in New World. Because they have to huddle together to keep warm, and they have to huddle together to keep warm. The weak pirate group can only scare the weak and weak pirate alliance. The powerful pirate group can only hold together to have a trace of strength against the 3 monsters. Of course, there are also some powerful pirate groups who did not choose to form a group, but challenged the 3 monsters alone. As a result, they either escaped from New World in embarrassment, or their entire army was annihilated, or they were recognized by the 3 monsters and became their affiliated pirate group. Sir Crocodile and Gecko Moria are the former. Every year, a large number of pirates escape from New World, and a large number of pirates travel thousands of miles to enter New World through the first half of the Grand Line. Apparently there are more pirates entering than leaving. Over time, in New World, whenever there are islands with people, there will definitely be pirates, and there will definitely be eyeliners from major forces. The Grandine flew in the sky with a high profile, so it shouldn't be too conspicuous. The flag and canvas, as well as the Tianlong logo on the bow, are recognized by pirates who are good at collecting information at a glance. This is the symbol of the Cross family that caused a sensation in the world not long ago. And the head of the Cross family is also known as the strongest supernova in history, and the walking natural disaster, Cross Khan. As a result, the news that Khan had entered the New World quickly spread throughout the entire New World through person to person, phone bug to phone bug. In an instant, countless pirates began to act. Some people want to kill Khan to make a name for the New World. Some people want to join Khan, and use Khan's reputation and strength to survive in the strongest sea in New World. There are also people who want to recruit Khan, or form an alliance with Khan to challenge the three overlords. No one dared to underestimate this man who possessed the templates of the two overlords. Even Charlotte Linlin and Kaido among the three overlords are extremely greedy for Khan. After the former learned that Khan, like her, was a natural destroyer, he wished to catch Khan back and breed him immediately, so as to produce a work that was even more perfect than Katakuri. The latter is because there are too few talents in the fleet, and they are full of love for Khan, who is also a phantom beast. It is no exaggeration to say that Khan has just appeared on the world's highest stage and immediately became one of the protagonists under the spotlight. Until he makes a name for himself and solidifies his status, don't expect to live as comfortably every day as he did in the first half of the West Blue and Grand Line. Khan's New World debut came sooner than expected. On the second day after entering New World, the low-flying Grandine was bombarded by 3 pirate ships. This time, though, Khan didn't do it himself. Zzz. Boom boom boom. I saw that Hancock, who had a unique level of perception and also found that the enemy was attacking, had blue and white lightning flashing all over his body, and then used ley metallurgy to turn the gold on his wrist into a golden stick. Under the increased speed of gold conduction, Hancock just waved the gold stick lightly, and threw out a huge electric snake. After the electric snake roared out, it divided into 3 parts, submerging the shells coming from different angles respectively. 3 fireworks suddenly bloomed in the air. It's unforgivable to dare to harm the Grandine. After destroying the flying cannonballs, Hancock's delicate and lovely face was immediately full of evil spirits. The thunder and lightning on his body also became more violent because of the master's fury. The terrifying electric current frightened Sonia, Mary, and even Robin, to dare not approach Hancock. Khan, who was going to float those idiots in the pirate ship into the air with the power of thought, and then slammed into the sea, the wave of thought power that had just surfaced on the surface of his body disappeared immediately. I saw Khan sitting back on the outdoor sofa, looking at Hancock, who was in a state of rage with interest. Hancock's character is very simple. She is like a blank sheet of paper. If anyone paints his own color on it, then what kind of color Hancock will be? Living in Daughter Island, where strength is the beauty, Hancock has been educated since childhood that the strong are respected. Therefore, she has a strong heart at a young age, and her innate destiny is also destined to awaken Conqueror's Haki one day. In the original book, even if he first suffered a big loss in the hands of human traffickers, and then became a slave of celestial dragons for several years, after returning to Daughter Island, Hancock still awakened Conqueror's Haki, and became the new 9 Snake Sea at the age of 18. The captain of the bandits, accepted the invitation of the world government and became the youngest 7 warlords of the sea. But now, Hancock just fell off the traffickers, and did not become a slave who lost his human rights, but also ate the thunderfruit, which is known as the strongest in Logia. Her current experience is simply smoother and more open than before Ace became Whitebeard's son. Hancock is also very clear that everything about her and her sister is given by the master. Therefore, Hancock, who has a pure personality, has long regarded Robin, who helped the 3 sisters eliminate the shadow, as a good sister, and also regarded Khan as the master who must repay in this life. They are all their own family, and the Grandine is their home. Now that someone dares to destroy their home, how can we not make Hancock angry? At this time, Hancock's expression is exactly the same as the original Summit War, when he saw Luffy being abused by Smoker. I don't know if it's caused by anger or talent. Hancock's next operation made Khan's eyes brighten. I saw the angry Hancock, the electric light on his body became more blazing. The terrifying electric heat turned the lightning between his hands into high-voltage electricity. A large amount of heat energy melted the gold that was turned into a stick again, forming a stringless golden bow. Then, Hancock jumped onto the railing of the ship's side, looking down at the 3 pirates below. Zzz. With the sound of piercing electric current, Hancock actually used lightning to build the bowstring, and then posed for shooting arrows downwards. Under the speed increase of gold conduction, the blue and white electric light quickly condensed, and then formed a lightning arrow. Call out. No sooner had the lightning bolt formed than Hancock shot it. The arrow shot down like a shooting star. In just a blink of an eye, the arrow hit one of the 3 pirate ships. Since Hancock aimed not at the people on board, but at the hull below the bow. In addition, the speed of the lightning was so incredible that the people on board didn't even have time to react, let alone defend. Boom. The arrow is not big, but after hitting the pirate ship, it burst out a huge explosion no less than Kizaru's laser. It can be seen that this lightning arrow, like Kizaru's laser, is a product of the compression of the power of lightning. With the sound of the explosion, the terrifying electric energy and electric heat instantly flooded the entire pirate ship, igniting the shells, gunpowder and other inflammable materials in the cabin, creating a small sea of flames on the sea. Ah! Amidst the flames, heart-piercing shouts continued to be heard. Figures whose whole body was on fire jumped into the sea one by one. After destroying a pirate ship with one arrow, Hancock condensed another lightning arrow and shot it out again under the aim of the only perception. Ha-boom! Ha-boom! 2 lightning arrows were shot in a row, and they both accurately hit the remaining 2 pirate ships. Since no one could block the lightning arrows that were so fast, the fate of the 2 pirate ships was the same as that of the pirate ship just now. Under the sound of the huge explosion, a sea of flames was formed on the sea. After shooting down the 3 pirate ships, Hancock's anger just vented. Hancock, who had received the education of respecting the strong, did not feel the slightest discomfort for his 3 arrows, which may have killed hundreds of lives. Instead, he felt it was a matter of course. Shoot him. It's like shooting beasts on Daughter's Island and Sea Kings. Good. So amazing. Sister, you looked so handsome just now. That's when Hancock calmed down, put a smile on his face again, and jumped off the railing of the boat. Sonia and Mary, who saw her shooting and destroying the 3 pirate ships lightly, immediately surrounded her, their eyes sparkling, and they looked at their sister with admiration. Robin also asked curiously, Hancock, when did you develop this trick? This operation of Hancock not only surprised Khan, but also surprised Robin. She also thought that Hancock would use God's judgment, which is powerful but has a very large forward swing, to attack the gang of pirates. He. I also did it subconsciously. Enjoying the admiration of his sister, he was not shy at all, but a little complacent. Hancock, who only felt that he was super beautiful now, explained with a smile. We warriors of the 9 snakes have learned hockey, archery, and physical skills since childhood, and fencing. Among them, hockey and archery are the main ones. Because we 9 snake warriors need to raise snakes since we were young, and cultivate them into our partners and weapons. Because we were abducted by human traffickers, our partners stayed on the boat, so I haven't practiced archery for a long time. After finishing speaking, Hancock raised the golden bow in his hand, and continued to smile. But after eating thunderfruit, I can use ley metallurgy to change the shape of gold. Just now I just subconsciously turned it into a golden bow in a fit of anger. I see. Robin was slightly taken aback. Excellent operation, the move just now can be named Indra's arrow. At this time, Khan appreciated the sound, from far to near. I saw Khan stepping up, putting his hand on Hancock's head, messing with her G hairstyle, and said with a smile, only a rich imagination can surpass the predecessors of all generations. It seems that Logia Thunderfruit and Hancock are very compatible with you. In the future, you should give full play to your imagination and try boldly. Aha! Khan's praise and head-to-head killing filled Hancock with a sense of accomplishment, and he felt elated. It's great to finally be able to help the master. Passively seeing through people's hearts, seeing Hancock's voice in his eyes, Khan, the Pua master, is also full of a sense of accomplishment at this time. At this moment, Khan finally understood why both Orochimaru in the Hokage world and Doflamingo in this world took in children to be raised. Because at this age, it is really easy to deceive. Especially orphans whose families are broken and have no relatives, just need to treat them a little better, so that they can work hard to help themselves throughout their lives. A casual compliment by yourself can make them feel full of accomplishment and be happy all day long. Hancock, just like that. After destroying the 3 unknown pirate ships, the Grandine continued to fly towards Rosa at low altitude. Along the way, Khan and his gang were attacked by 2 groups of idiots. The only ones who dare to attack Khan's gang are those fools who want to be famous and crazy. But anyone with a little brain would not do this. Dare to engage in naval battles with flying sailboats, that is to seek death, unless one's own side also has the ability to fly. Obviously, these idiots are not only uneducated, but also lifeless. For their suicide, Hancock showed no mercy. 1 arrow and 1 ship took away the lives of most of the people on board. Those who survived jumping into the sea by chance will also be disabled in the future. Hancock's performance was also learned that after Khan entered the new world, he sent a newsbird to secretly take pictures of their Morgans, and they all saw it. However, because Hancock's information is unknown, and the ability is only to use the lightning arrow, it is not sure what the fruit ability is, and Morgans did not report Hancock's record. However, Hancock's performance of one arrow and one ship, and the appearance of an extremely young girl who is underage like Nico Robin, also made Morgans see dazzling stars in her. This beautiful and lovely girl may grow up to be the greatest helper of Walking Scourge, Cross Con in the future. See Circle Calendar April 10, 1503. Khan's group, who eliminated several idiots on the way, finally arrived in Dressrosa. At this time, Dressrosa is not yet a resort island known as the country of love, passion and toys in later generations. On the contrary, this is a very poor island in the member countries. The treasury can only collect the gold from the sky at most every year, not even an extra 10 billion. In the original book, King Riku fell into Doflamingo's trap because he didn't have enough money to collect 10 billion Baileys, and was overthrown by Doflamingo from his regime. At present, the island is most famous for its bullfighting arena and delicacies. If it weren't for these two characteristics, Dressrosa wouldn't even be able to make up the money in the sky every year, and was ruthlessly kicked out of the list of franchise countries by the world government. Even among the more than 170 member countries, Dressrosa is now at the bottom. The World Summit held every 4 years, Dressrosa is also not among the list of 50 invited countries. Even so, Dressrosa is in New World, and no pirates will provoke her. Of course, this pirate refers to a powerful pirate. The weak pirates can be dealt with by Dressrosa's permanent army. Powerful pirates, able to survive in New World, have already clearly realized the balance deliberately maintained between pirates, world government, and naval headquarters. Anyone who dares to break this balance will be wrathed by the world government and naval headquarters. Therefore, even the 3 major overlords will not attack the franchise countries. It is this welfare that makes countless weak countries continue to wage wars and rob other countries' money, people and territory, in order to collect enough money in the sky, and want to become a member of the franchise country, subject to this balance protection of. It is very difficult to occupy a franchise country as your own base camp. Even if Doflamingo, the former celestial dragons, wants to regain the territory that his ancestors once ruled, he must first obtain the legal pirate status of Shichibukai, and then design to tarnish the reputation of King Riku, and then successfully obtain Dressrosa with the help of the glory of his ancestors' regime. If the power cannot be obtained in a justifiable way, then when the other member countries know that one of their own people has been taken away by the pirates, the world government will turn a blind eye. Then they are still working hard to squeeze the people. What are they doing with the so-called heavenly gold? If the member countries do not pay the heavenly gold, then the international organization world government will cease to exist. The world government has no income, and naval headquarters has no military spending. Therefore, the member countries are the bottom line of the world government. But the real bottom line is the 100-year blank history that was deliberately erased by the world government. Anyone who dares to touch the 2 bottom lines of the world government will bear the wrath of the world overlord. Of course, compared with the blank 100-year history, the bottom line of the franchise countries still has loopholes. And now, Khan is here to exploit this loophole. The Highland of the King, in the palace. Your Majesty King Riku, the head of the Cross family, would like to meet you. A soldier wearing knight armor knelt on one knee in front of Riku Doldi, also known as King Riku, and said respectfully. The Cross family. King Riku, who was chatting and playing with his 16-year-old eldest daughter Scarlet, and his 10-year-old second daughter Violet, was taken aback for a moment, then subconsciously looked at his most trusted subordinate, who was also the captain of the royal army, and see Cyrus, guarded by Carlette, asked, "Does our Dressrosa have this family?" "I don't know, but I seem to have heard this name somewhere." The 25-year-old Cyrus is also frowning. "The Cross family, do you mean the Cross-Con family?" At this time, Scarlet, who was still lively and full of youth, suddenly looked at the soldier with beautiful eyes and asked. "Yes, your royal highness." The soldier who was about to remind King Riku suddenly stopped the words rushing down his throat, and nodded vigorously. Cross-Con. King Riku read the name for a while, and gradually revealed a look of surprise on his face. It turned out to be him, from West Blue's Walking Calamity. Cyrus said with a full face of vigilance. "The walking natural disaster, the strongest supernova in history. Why did this big pirate with a bounty of 300 million Baileys appear in Dressrosa? His Majesty King Riku, do you want to contact Marine? What is the connection?" Without waiting for King Riku to speak, he has no good impressions of him at present, even because he always prevents him from going out to play, and thus scolded Scarlet, who hates him very much. "The other party just wants to meet the king father, that's all. It's not that I want to harm my father. Besides, didn't you read the newspaper last month? With Cross-Con's record and ability, Does he need to make such a big effort if he wants to harm his father or the country? Teach me, your royal highness. Cyrus, who was scolded by Scarlet, looked embarrassed for a while, and then bowed his head respectfully. However, this kind of angry appearance made Scarlet even more upset. If Cyrus refuted and behaved differently from other soldiers and knights, Scarlet would still feel fresh and become interested in him instead. But now, in Scarlet's eyes, Cyrus is just a nuisance who somehow tricked his father and pretended to be an army commander. No matter what Cyrus does before the hero saves the beauty, Scarlet will look down on him. Scarlet is right. Hearing what the eldest daughter said, King Riku, who was originally a little worried, immediately let go of his frowning, and said to the soldier kneeling on one knee, "Clan Chief Khan, please go to the reception hall." "Yes, His Majesty King Riku." The soldier bowed his head respectfully, then stepped back and left. "Father, can I go with you?" Scarlet grabbed King Riku's arm, and said excitedly, "It is rumored that Cross Khan can stand at birth, can lift an adult with one hand before he is 1 year old, and has the power to crush rocks at the age of 5, and has invulnerable defense. Started to take over the family business at the age of 6, and after the death of his parents at the age of 9, it only took him 6 years to develop the Cross family into the largest mafia family in West Blue. And this year, he is only 15 years old, 1 year younger than me. I also want to meet this legendary figure who is obviously the same age as me." Looking at the eldest daughter with sparkling beautiful eyes and a look of anticipation on her face, King Riku hesitated for a moment, finally nodded, and made a decision that he would be grateful for the rest of his life. "In that case, let's follow." When King Riku brought Scarlet and Violet's 2 daughters, as well as Cyrus, to the palace reception hall. Seeing that he was only 15 years old this year, but his height had skyrocketed to 1.85 meters, he was wearing a white suit and a blue tie, with 4 underage maids standing behind him, and a look of amazement flashed in his eyes. If it weren't for Cross Khan, he was already the head of the Cross family at the age of 9, he was the overlord of West Blue, the mafia godfather of West Blue. At first glance, I thought Khan was a noble son from a noble family. That kind of strength, self-confidence, and the aura derived from hockey make Khan the most dazzling existence no matter what the occasion. Don't you see? Scarlet, who was already full of curiosity about Khan, took her sister's little hand and followed behind King Riku, but her beautiful eyes stared at Khan without blinking. 16 years old is the stage of adolescence. Men and women of this age are the most curious and rebellious, and it is also the stage when the spring heart sprouts. 12-year-old Hancock, 11-year-old Nico Robin, 10-year-old Sonia, and 9-year-old Mary, they are not yet at the stage of opposite sex attraction at this age. So they get along with Khan, just like big brother and sister. The love for Khan is also pure love. Even if there is love between men and women in this love, they don't realize it. On the other hand, Scarlet is different from them. Obviously on the headline cover of Shijingbao, I have already seen Khan's reward order, and I know what this legendary peer looks like. After seeing Khan in person, Scarlet's heartbeat suddenly accelerated for some reason. Even Violet, who is only 10 years old this year, thinks that the big brother who looks as young as her sister, but is taller than her sister, looks very good looking. But because of her young age, Violet doesn't have the spring-like feeling of her sister. After just a few glances at Khan, Violet's gaze shifted to the 4 maids behind Khan. Then Violet's eyes were drawn to Mary, who was 1 year younger than her. Although Sonia's age is the same as Violet's 10 years old. But Sonia is a big-headed baby. She is taller than Robin, who is 11, and Hancock, who is 12, and she is not 10 years old at all. On the other hand, Robin's temperament is calm and precocious, and the more confident Hancock is showing his sharpness. Neither of the 2 girls is immature at this age. Among the 4 maids, only Marie seemed easy to get along with. His Majesty King Riku, it is a pleasure to meet you. While the 2 princesses were looking at Khan and his group, Khan also greeted King Riku with a smile on his face. Patriarch Khan, this king has also admired your name for a long time. As the saying goes, don't hit a smiling person with your hand. Faced with Khan's kindness, King Riku also smiled back, and even extended his palm to Khan. Only Cyrus, who was a step behind King Riku, kept staring at Khan with sharp eyes, as if he was afraid that Khan would be unfavorable to King Riku. However, his posture is very competent, he is an excellent army commander and royal guard. Khan and Robin didn't care, except that Hancock was a little upset about this guy. After shaking hands, Khan sat on an expensive couch under the hospitality of King Riku. The 4 daughters of Robin did not take their seats, but stood behind Khan. Scarlet and Violet sat on the left and right sides of King Riku, and Cyrus stood behind the sofa. Patriarch Khan, these 2 are the daughters of this king, the eldest daughter Scarlet and the second daughter Violet. King Riku first introduced Scarlet and Violet to Khan. It's an honor to meet you, your royal highnesses. Khan nodded to the two sisters and said, my name is Cross Khan. Since Robin's 4 daughters are only maids, Khan did not introduce them to the 3 of Prince Riku's father and daughter. King Riku also did not introduce Cyrus. It's an honor to meet you too, Patriarch Khan. On such occasions, Scarlet also restrained her lively and active appearance, showing the reservedness of a princess, and smiled at Khan, then got up to fetch red wine and tea, and took the initiative to take over the task of sobering up. After the brief introduction, King Riku asked straight to the point, Patriarch Khan, you came to dress Rosa and wanted to meet this king specifically, what is the matter? I'm here to discuss a business with you, His Majesty King Riku. Khan crossed his elegant Erlang legs, crossed his fingers on his legs, looked at King Riku and smiled and said, I hope to reach a long-term cooperation with Dress Rosa. Oh. King Riku immediately became interested, and asked, what kind of business does Patriarch Khan want to do with our country? Khan didn't answer right away, but asked, I don't know if His Majesty King Riku understands my abilities? Of course, this king thinks that anyone who has read the Shijingbao last month will know of your abilities, Patriarch Khan. King Riku nodded, and slightly exclaimed, the physique of a natural destroyer like the Pirate Queen, and the ability of phantom beasts that are rarer than Logia. Patriarch Khan was really born, and he stood on the side of countless people for life. An end that can never be reached in a lifetime. If there is no accident, this strongest sea will have a place for Patriarch Khan in a few years. You are absurd, His Majesty King Riku. Faced with King Riku's flattery, Khan smiled without changing his expression. Just like Shijingbao said, the full name of my fruit ability is Zone Dragon Fruit Phantom Beast Species Dragon Form. In addition to being able to transform into a dragon, I also have a superpower, which is telekinesis. Maybe you don't know much about telekinesis, but it can be understood as an ability similar to Paramecia Lion Fruit. Golden Lion, Shiki's ability. I believe His Majesty King Riku located in New World, you should be familiar with it, right? There was a slight pause in his tone, watching his face gradually become ugly, thinking that he was scaring his King Riku. Khan, who really had a deterrent purpose, finally got straight to the point. Don't get me wrong, Your Majesty King Riku, I came here to cooperate with you with good intentions. What you said just now is just to let you have a clearer understanding of my ability. As I said just now, my telekinesis is very similar to Paramecia Lion Fruit. What Golden Lion can do, I can do too, but it's not as perfect as him. So, my telekinetic power can also lift an island. And this time, I just want to hire people from your country, and I entrust you to help me hire people from another country to build the headquarters of the Cross family, for me. Entrust us. King Riku was slightly taken aback, and then subconsciously asked, which country do you want to entrust us to help you hire? When he said this, King Riku almost subconsciously thought of the Kingdom of Prudence, that is clearly a relationship with neighboring countries, rather than the Kingdom of Dongtada, outside the suspension bridge north of Dress Rosa. After all, after the Don Quixote family moved into Marie Joy's and the Riku family became the new royal family, their ancestors had already apologized to the little people, and liberated the slavery of the little people, and used the legend of fairies, to make humans no longer disturb the little people. Except for a few people, no one knows the existence of the Dongtada Kingdom, let alone the Dongtada Kingdom, which is located on the uninhabited island beyond the suspension bridge north of Dress Rosa. And Khan's next sentence made King Riku's face suddenly change. I want to entrust His Majesty King Riku to help me contact the little people of the neighboring Dongtada Kingdom. I want to hire them to help me build the headquarters of the Ross family. Patriarch Khan, you were joking. Looking at the smiling Khan, King Riku looked very unnatural, and wanted to refuse in a subtle way. Have you heard of the legend of the fairy in our country? In fact, that legend is false. Your Majesty King Riku, don't be nervous. Khan raised his hand to appease King Riku's emotions, and said, I've said it all, I came to cooperate with you with goodwill and sincerity. Let me introduce you, this is my maid, her name is Boa Hancock. When the subject changed, Khan suddenly introduced Hancock's Khan to King Riku and the others, and said something that made both King Riku and Cyrus' faces change drastically. By the way, she is a Logia thunderfruit capable person, and her electric wave it can increase observation hockey and sense the entire Dress Rosa, including the uninhabited island outside the North Suspension Bridge. Thunderfruit ability user. Looking at Hancock, who is only a little inferior to his eldest daughter in appearance, and maybe even more beautiful than his eldest daughter when he grows up, King Riku said with a look of horror, that legendary ability actually appeared in this era. ZZZ. Observation hockey seemed to have sensed certain emotions of King Riku, and Hancock very cooperatively transformed his physical strength into lightning power, and his whole body shone with dazzling blue and white lightning. Seeing this scene, King Riku no longer had any doubts. At the same time, his heart became heavy. Zone, dragon fruit, phantom beast, dragon form, which is rarer than Logia, and thunderfruit, which is known as the strongest in Logia. As one of the kings of the New World, King Riku knew very well what such a combination meant. If it weren't for the young age of Khan and Hancock. To be precise, if the other party is already in the peak period at this time, there is no need to lower your posture to meet him, you only need to send someone to notify. Even if they occupy Rosa strongly, the world government will not come to rescue immediately, but to find a way to manipulate public opinion, or to kick Rosa out of the list of joining countries with trumped-up charges. Because the cost of going to war with Khan and Hancock is too high. Rosa is just the lowest level franchise country, and the benefits it brings to the world government are not worth offending Khan and Hancock at their peak for their sake. At this time, Khan had clearly told King Riku. He knew that the kingdom of Dongtada was located on the uninhabited island north of Rosa, but he did not directly use his telekinetic power to snatch the uninhabited island, but instead went to the king's heights to entrust King Riku. This is his goodwill and sincerity. Needless to say, language is an art. These few words of Khan not only showed his own strength, but also showed the future background of the Cross family, and made King Riku feel his sincerity and threat. King Riku knew that Khan was giving him multiple choice questions. Do you choose to accept the favor of the future overlord, or choose to refuse and offend the future overlord? Is this West Blue's youngest mafia godfather? Looking at Khan, whose smile is still as gentle as a breeze, King Riku suddenly understood that Khan became the overlord of West Blue at a young age, and the biggest mafia godfather of West Blue, not only his monster strength, but also powerful means. What a dreadful young man. King Riku sighed slightly in his heart, but on the surface he bowed his head softly and said, Patriarch Khan, I would like to ask, what do you want to hire Dongtada Kingdom to do for you? I want to hire them to help me grow plants to decorate the island, and I want them to help me create a medicine garden. Khan, who saw King Riku's wishes in his eyes, knew that he had compromised, and said without any concealment, if possible, I hope to establish a long-term cooperative relationship with them. In this world, there are no plants that can't be cultivated by small humans. After the base camp of our Cross family is completed, I will open up channels in the Dark World, move West Blue's business to New World, and develop new businesses. In the new business, including drugs. So, I want the little people to help me cultivate all kinds of medicinal materials. Looking at King Riku with an uncertain expression, Khan continued with a smile. Your Majesty King Riku, I know what you are worried about. I'm not like the Don Quixote who enslaved the little people 900 years ago, because I'm rich, super rich. After finishing speaking, Khan turned to Mary and said, Mary, let King Riku see our sincerity. Yes, master. Mary nodded. Then Mary came from the back of the sofa to the front, and opened a door that was neither too big nor too small on her stomach. Before Scarlet and Violet could scream, they discovered that behind this door were not the internal organs and intestines of the human body, but a luxuriously decorated room like a royal palace. More importantly, this room is filled with gold. I saw Mary put her hand into her stomach, passing through a transparent membrane on the way. After taking out a piece of gold the size of a fingernail, the gold in Mary's hand was also covered by a transparent white mask. When Mary lifted the transparent white mask on the gold, the fingernail-sized gold suddenly turned into a gold nugget half the size of Mary, and fell heavily to the ground. Boom. The sound of the heavy object falling to the ground seemed to tell King Riku and others that this was not an illusion or an auditory hallucination. This is Paramisha Chenchung fruit. King Riku only glanced at the gold nuggets on the ground, and then returned to the vault in Mary's stomach. Being well informed, he quickly recognized this ability, and said with a dry throat. Such a small piece of gold on the gold curry is actually such a large gold brick. So how much is the gold on the gold curry worth? Good eyesight. Seeing that King Riku recognized Marie's fruit ability so quickly, Khan couldn't help giving him a thumbs up, admiring him. Obviously, King Riku must have read the Devil Fruit illustrated book, and his knowledge is very rich. This is my sincerity. Khan said richly and generously, with my wealth, I will not bother to squeeze the little people. I pay as much as they do. Not only the little people, but also the people of Rosa. As long as you help me build the stronghold of the Cross family, I will pay as much labor as you provide. And you will also get my friendship. I will protect you, so that you will not be harassed by pirates, and you will also pay gold every year, so you don't have to live such a poor life. Hearing this, King Riku, who had always been wary of Khan, was finally moved. Since I can't beat them, refusing will offend the future overlord, and the other party promised not to oppress the little people. This cooperation is to give them money for a long time. What reason do I have to refuse? Okay, I promise you. Without hesitating for a long time, King Riku nodded and said that everything had changed. I will go to the kingdom of Dongtada in person to help Patriarch Khan convince you of the little people. Pleasant cooperation. Khan stood up, took the high-heeled cup from Scarlet, and clinked cups with King Riku, who also stood up. After drinking a small amount of red wine in the glass, Khan pulled Robin over and said to King Riku, "This is one of my personal maids, and she is also my head maid. Her name is Nico Robin. I hope His Majesty King Riku will bring her with you when you go to the kingdom of Dongtada, because she has a gift for the little people. I believe the little people will like my gift very much." Nicole. Nico Robin? King Riku only felt that the name sounded familiar. Then, as if thinking of something, he stared at Robin with wide eyes. Obviously, he has recognized Robin's identity. "Hello, His Majesty King Riku." Looking at the astonished King Riku, Robin smiled politely. "You. Hello." King Riku came back to his senses and looked at the group of maids behind Khan, with no contempt in his eyes anymore. A person who ate the strongest thunderfruit ability in Logia, a mobile treasure who ate the fruit of Paramecia fortified city, and a devil's son who shocked the world at the age of 8. Of the 4 maids, 3 of them were not simple. The green-haired maid at the end might also be an unknown ability user. Coupled with Cross Khan, who has 2 monster templates, this Cross family really has unlimited potential. Realizing that this family must be one of the big forces in the new world in the future, King Riku, who had already chosen to establish a relationship with them, also nodded decisively and said, "I know, I will set off for Dongtada Kingdom tomorrow. Chief Maid Robin can come with me when the time comes." "Thank you for your help." Khan nodded with a smile, and said again, "Your Majesty King Riku, before the base camp of the Cross family is completed, I want to temporarily settle down in Rosa. When we came, we found an open space with a beautiful sea of flowers. I wonder if it can be sold to us, or leased to us, to build a house there. Is it the flower field?" Without waiting for King Riku to answer, Scarlet seemed to have found a bosom friend. Her beautiful eyes sparkled and she said, "Clan Chief Khan, you really have a good eye, it is definitely the most beautiful place in Rosa. No problem, the flower field can be sold to you." Seeing Scarlet's appearance of wanting to make friends with Khan, King Riku, who was a little hesitant, immediately made a decision, nodded and said, "Let Scarlet take charge of this matter." Seeing through people's hearts and seeing the voice of King Riku in his eyes, Khan was speechless for a while. Good guy, it should be said that he is the king of a country. After deciding to take the ship of Khan, I started to find a backstage for my daughter. Before Khan, King Riku's most promising person was undoubtedly Cyrus. After the hero Cyrus in the original book saved the United States, King Riku also announced that Scarlet had died of illness in order to hide the truth from the people, thus fulfilling Cyrus and Scarlet. But now, Cyrus has no hero to save the beauty, and Scarlet has no affection for him at all, and even hates him very much. At this time, Khan suddenly fell from the sky. Scarlet also wanted to befriend this legendary peer, and now King Riku, who raised Scarlet as the heir to the kingdom, immediately wanted to help her. If Scarlet can become friends with Khan, Rosa will have the pirate overlord as a backer in the future. Even if he dies of old age or accident, there is no need to worry that Scarlet and Violet will be in danger. Although he felt very speechless for King Riku so quickly thinking about what happened after his death, Khan had to admire that this guy's courage was really strong. Therefore, Khan also nodded to Scarlet superficially, and said with a smile, "Then I will trouble you, your Royal Highness." He. "No problem, leave it to me." With her hands behind her back, Scarlet resisted the urge to cheer, and smiled reservedly at Khan. Looking at Scarlet, who had been watching Khan all the time, standing behind King Riku, Cyrus, who had not spoken from the beginning to the end, and who was not qualified to speak, looked a little bitter. Ever since he became the guard of Scarlet and Violet, Cyrus has been full of affection for this princess who is 9 years younger than him and has a lively personality. However, due to the mismatch of identities, he never dared to show his favor, and has been silently guarding the princess. Even if she hates and reprimands her, she is still willing. But now, this Her Royal Highness, who didn't even look at her, suddenly had a boy in her eyes. Cyrus' current mood can be imagined, but he had to admit that compared to himself, a 9-year-old murderer who was born as a princess, he stood at the end that countless people could not reach in this life. At the age of 15, he was already the overlord of West Blue. Khan, who has attracted a lot of attention from all over the world, is the ideal type of Her Royal Highness. Good guy, where is this suffering? Inadvertently glanced at Cyrus, Khan, who saw his inner thoughts in his eyes, was speechless again. Khan's first step plan went very well. With his insight into people's hearts, he can occupy an absolute advantage in negotiations and dialogues. Under his subtle coercion and lure, King Riku, who loves the people, did not dare to offend Khan at all, so he could only choose to cooperate with him. Therefore, Khan successfully completed the first step of the plan to settle in. Khan's plan is to turn Dressrosa into the stronghold of the Cross family. And this plan is divided into 3 steps. The first step is to settle in. Establishing a long-term cooperative relationship, buying land in Dressrosa and temporarily settling down, Khan has completed this step. The second step is to brush up favorability. With Khan's strength and King Liku's eagerness to love people, Khan can use Dressrosa's national life to threaten King Liku and Violet to work for him. Or, like Doflamingo, threaten Violet with King Liku's life. But that approach is just the lowest level of operation. Even if Violet was forced to work for Khan, she would not do it willingly. Instead, she would backstab whenever she found the opportunity, just like the original book. If Khan's purpose is to occupy Dressrosa, then he doesn't mind using this method. But Khan's purpose is not to occupy Dressrosa, but for the 2 treasures of Violet and Man Shirley. Turning Dressrosa into the Cross family stronghold was just incidental. If you want Violet and Man Shirley, and even the royal family of Liku and the little people to work for Khan willingly, you must treat people with sincerity. Therefore, Khan will invest in Dressrosa and Dongtada Kingdom next, so that Violet and Manchueli can see that the lives of the people have not only improved, but also that the strong protect them. They are kind and simple, and they will definitely repay Khan, willingly allowing Khan to use their fruit ability. After the princesses of the 2 countries have become members of their own families, their countries will naturally become the territory of the Cross family. And this is the third step of Khan's plan, subtle. How about Violet? After taking over the task of selling the land to Khan from her father, Scarlet couldn't wait to lead Khan's group out of the palace and head towards the flower fields. As Her Royal Highness's guard, Cyrus naturally had to follow. After they left, King Liku suddenly made an okay gesture to his hands, and Violet, who was in front of him, asked. Cannot see. Violet lowered her hands and shook her head in distress. That big brother's hockey is too strong, I can't see his heart at all with my ability. What about the rest? King Liku was not surprised and continued to ask. Those sisters, they are full of kindness to their sisters, and they are all good people. This time, Violet smiled. Yes. Hearing this, King Liku secretly heaved a sigh of relief. As long as it's not a villain, this means that Khan's words just now are highly credible. When Violet lowered her hands, she didn't know that the expressions of 2 of Khan's group who walked out of the palace changed for a moment. These 2 people are Khan and Hancock. The only perception, overheard the conversation between Violet and King Riku. Hancock wanted to remind Khan. However, she was one body behind Khan, but she saw Khan's right hand and shook her index finger indistinctly. Hancock, who understood Khan's meaning, immediately stopped the words rushing down his throat, his heart full of doubts. Born observation hockey read Hancock's heart. Khan shook his head helplessly. That's why he only told Robin about his plan, not the 3 Boya sisters. They are still too tender. If they had known their plans in advance, they would have cheered in their hearts when they saw Khan's first step plan was successful. In this way, those who don't know that Violet is Paramisha Gangeogwa will definitely be seen through their inner thoughts by Violet. Fortunately, Paramisha Gangeogwa's ability to see through people's hearts can only read the target's current thoughts, and cannot read the target's thoughts like Khan's natural observation hockey. After touching the target's body, it can also read memory. The 3 Boya sisters, who are pure in heart, see that the master is full of kindness towards Scarlet, and they are also full of kindness towards Scarlet. And Robin, who knew about Khan's plan, did the same. This caused Violet, who saw the kindness of the 4 girls, to regard Robin and the others as good people. Preconceived notions are very important. Violet, who regards Robin's 4 daughters as good people, will definitely not be wary of them. After Khan's group settled down in Dressrosa, Violet, who lacked friends like her sister and had no one to play with, couldn't help but come to play with Mary and the others. In this way, it is a breeze for Khan to gain her favor. Next, there is Manchueli of the Little People. Manchueli is only 4 years old this year, and Khan is not sure if she has eaten the Paramisha healing fruit. But it doesn't matter if you eat it or not, the value of the Little People is far higher than that of Dressrosa. Even if Manchueli hasn't eaten the Paramisha healing fruit, Khan will definitely subdue them. And it is much easier to gain the favor of the Little People than the Liku clan. Because the weakness of the Little People is that they are innocent and kind, and it is easy to believe other people's lies. Moreover, the Little People have a deep relationship with Rolando, the big talker 400 years ago. Their plant knowledge was taught to them by Rolando. When they knew that Rolando was slandered as a big talker by the outside world, in fact he didn't lie at all. The Golden Country really existed, but he was sent to Sky Island. Khan and his team have already confirmed this, and took down the Golden Town and the Golden Bell mentioned in the fairy tale book, Rolando the Big Talker. the group is full of good feelings. This is Khan's gift to them. At that time, Khan will only need to pay the little people for the cultivation of medicinal materials, and will not squeeze their labor force. These small people will be very happy to cooperate with Khan and help the Cross family to cultivate medicinal materials for generations to come. Khan didn't plan to do the job of gaining the favor of the little people himself, but handed it over to Robin. With Robin's character in mind, he will definitely complete the tasks arranged by Khan perfectly. As for Khan, he has other business to do. Following Scarlet to the flower field, the 4 daughters of Robin immediately fell in love with this paradise. Looking up, it is full of golden flowers. Even the sea breeze blowing to the island, the faint salty smell has turned into a floral fragrance. Khan was also very satisfied with this place, and immediately circled an open space outside the flower field, planning to build a villa here, and handed over the project to Dressrosa's construction company. Chief Khan, building a villa is not a small project. Why don't you live in King's Heights first? Hearing that Khan wanted to build a villa here, Scarlet's eyes lit up immediately, and she invited him. Khan shook his head, and refused. No, I can use telekinetic power to move the sailboat to this open space, and Mary is a Paramecia strong city fruit ability user, and we can also live in her castle. I see. Scarlet was slightly stunned, and a look of pity flashed in her eyes. Seeing her royal highness like this, Cyrus felt even more bitter. The only consolation is that Khan refused to live there temporarily in King's Heights. However, Khan's next words made Scarlet almost unable to help cheering. Your Highness, you don't need to call me Patriarch Khan from now on. Our ages should be about the same. Just call me Khan. I saw Khan stretching out his palm to Scarlet, and said with a smile, I may trouble you often in the future. Let's get to know each other again. My name is Cross Khan, I am 15 years old, please give me your advice. Khan, don't call me your Highness the Princess anymore. Scarlet nodded vigorously, held Khan's palm with a smile on her face and said, My name is Scarlet, I am 16 years old, please give me your advice. I see, Scarlet. Khan nodded solemnly, making Scarlet even happier. She turned to Khan and asked, Khan, you must have just come to dress Rosa, right? Shall I show you around here? If you have that intention, then I will trouble you, Scarlet. Hee. You're welcome. In fact, Khan had no interest in visiting dress Rosa at all. But after realizing that Scarlet seemed to be full of affection for him, Khan suddenly became interested in shopping again. As the eldest princess of dress Rosa, Scarlet's status is quite high. She is King Riku's favorite daughter and Violet's favorite sister, and she is also a beautiful girl who is only a little weaker than Hancock. More importantly, she is a powerless person, maybe a rough gem worth carving. Robin's 4 daughters, now Hancock, Robin, and Mary are all capable, and Sonia's devil fruit, Khan has already thought about it. And his targets this time, Violet and Man Shirley are also capable users. In other words, the current family members and future family members are already fruit ability users. But Khan, who is a time traveler, knows very well that during this time period, there are still many rare devil fruits, which are now in a state of no owner. What Khan lacks now is not a devil fruit, but a trustworthy powerless. But now, Scarlet offered to deliver it to her door. Maybe he can reap another pair of sisters this trip. Thinking of this, Pua Master, Khan's eyes on Scarlet changed, and he became motivated to go shopping and chat with her. If it weren't for the fact that Robin's 4 girls are still young and don't know much about the relationship between men and women, there is no such thing as a scumbag in this world. If they heard what Khan said, they would definitely say with contempt on their faces, Bah, scumbag. The flower fields at dusk are even more beautiful than during the day, like a golden world. On the open space outside the flower field, a medium-sized 2-masted sailing ship was parked at this time, and the bottom of the ship was a huge pool made by Khan with telekinesis. The price is acceptable. I will transfer 10 million Baileys to your bank account tomorrow. No problem. We believe in your credibility, Mr. Khan, and I will fax you the information now. Pleasant cooperation. On the lawn-style deck, Khan, who had been shopping with Scarlet for a day, was sitting on the open-air sofa, holding a phone bug and talking to someone while Robin's 4 daughters were preparing dinner. Wait until the phone bug closes his eyes and falls asleep with his head down. Khan didn't do anything. A special phone bug and a fax machine just flew out of the cabin. Khan picked up the teacup and took a sip of the black tea, and his telekinetic power turned into invisible fingers to operate the fax machine. The special phone bugs also opened their closed eyes, as if they were contacting their compatriots somewhere in the sea. After a while, a few blank sheets of paper filled with words were spit out from the fax machine. Picking up the white paper, Khan looked at the intelligence that he had just bought from the black market. Yes, Khan was talking to someone from the black market just now. In this world, there are also banks and hospitals. Senor Peak, the cadre of Don Quixote family, just lied to his wife Lucian that he was working in a bank. Needless to say, the hospital, Doflamingo's brother Corazon, just to treat Trafalgar Law, ran all over North Blue's hospital. And this information is New World's pirate power map. At the top of the list is the uncrowned king of the Great Pirate Era, recognized as the world's strongest, Whitebeard pirates. And under the Whitebeard pirates, there is a list of sites where they planted their flags. The Whitebeard pirates do not have a base camp. To be precise, their base camp is the same as Khan's Cross family, Dick. Although the Whitebeard pirates did not use the island as their base camp, as the most loyal pirates, New World's towns protected by the Whitebeard pirates are as high as 3 digits. This is an incredible number. You know, Khan was able to plant flags in more than 200 towns in West Blue because West Blue is one of the 4 largest sea areas in the world and one of the sea areas with the most islands. The Grand Line is just a route sandwiched between the 4 seas and the windless zone. New World is half of the sea area of this route. In half of the sea area of this route, the Whitebeard pirates are worthy of the name of the world's strongest pirates. So many towns with flags also represent the territory of the Whitebeard pirates, which is the biggest piece of cake in New World. Whoever can eat this piece of cake will instantly become the new uncrowned king, the strongest overlord of the New World. Ranked below the Whitebeard pirates, it is the Pirate Queen who is rarely known in this era. In fact, she was on the same ship as Whitebeard, and she was also the original companion of the Pirate Queen, known as Big Mom, ruled by Charlotte Linlin. Pirates. The base camp of Big Mom Pirates is Toto Land Kingdom. The Kingdom of Toto Land is the name of a kingdom and the name of a sea area. There are 35 islands in this sea, which form an archipelago similar to the Sabodi archipelago. The owner of this archipelago is Charlotte Linlin. Currently, the 2 most powerful pirate groups in the pirate world are the Whitebeard Pirate Group and the Big Mom Pirate Group. And their little brother, Kaido, currently only has an island of ghosts in Wanokuni, which is secretly controlled. If it weren't for Kaido's strength getting stronger and stronger, and defeating Wanokuni, let the knifesmiths create the best cold weapons on the market, and sell sea stone, and quickly expand their power. With only 2 islands and such a small force, he is not worthy to be called the 3 monsters of the Great Pirate Era along with Whitebeard and Charlotte Linlin. If Charlotte Linlin is interested, she can go to other islands with snacks to plant flags just like the original book. Kaido can't, because he killed Kazuki Oden and offended the Whitebeard pirates. Whitebeard dared not and was unwilling to take revenge for his former companion who was dead and broke away from the ship, and brought his sons into the special sea area of Wanokuni. But he destroyed the place where Kaido's flag was planted, it was just a piece of cake. So Kaido's forces, before he can defeat Whitebeard, are locked in Onishima and Wanokuni. This is why Kaido keeps collecting zone devil fruits to cultivate his own army of beasts. He can't go through the family flow of big sister Charlotte Linlin, nor can he go through the flow of the son of big brother Whitebeard, so he can only go through the elite flow. It is a pity that Kaido's road ahead is destined to be bumpy. It took only a dozen years for Shanks, who went to the elite stream and was also regarded as a junior, to surpass him. In the end, because he was against the son of destiny, he stepped into the back of another big brother, Golden Lion, and was defeated by a miscellaneous fish who had just killed him with a stick not long ago, through continuous hacking. Closer to home. After reading the power map of the top 3 overlords, Khan turned his attention to the Pirate Alliance and Pirate Group, which are second only to the 3 overlords. It is said to be an alliance, but in fact it is just a number of pirate groups united by everyone in an emergency. Such an alliance usually appears when there is a conflict with the subordinate forces of the overlord pirates, or when they want to challenge the overlord. Because only by uniting can we frighten those affiliated pirates who rely on the banner of supremacy to be arrogant and do whatever they want in New World. Facing the alliance, even those team captains and top cadres can't be eliminated under the leadership of the team. Only an island-destroying maritime overlord can defeat these so-called alliances. However, just like the balance deliberately maintained by pirates, world government, and naval headquarters, those sea overlords seldom take action unless they are fighting against opponents of the same level. They had to allow these relatively strong underdogs to survive in New World, otherwise Marine would not be so afraid of them. At that time, they will be in danger, such is the situation in the New World. The overlord does not move, only raises soldiers. The weak grow themselves by constantly devouring the weaker and the stronger, and finally challenge the highest peak in the world. When those overlords who stood on the highest peak of the world had nothing to do with him, a new overlord was born naturally. If Khan wants to become one of the overlords of the New World, there are only 2 options. One is to wait until one's own strength is not inferior to those overlords, frantically recruit the weak, and form a large fleet of thousands or tens of thousands of people. At that time, he will be the new overlord, but he will only be strong by himself, and his subordinates will be weak, so he will be very easy to defeat. Commonly known as strong outside and dry in the middle. Of course, after Khan forms such a large fleet, he can also spend a lot of time cultivating trustworthy cadres from scratch to improve the foundation of the fleet. This is how the Whitebeard pirates and Big Mom pirates came here. The second is to form a pirate group with a small number of people but a very high average value, which can be called an impregnable wall, just like the Red Hair pirates, which is the so-called elite stream. Or Kaido's nondescript existence between the troop stream and the elite stream. And Khan's choice, of course, is the elite stream. He is different from that unlucky Kaido, the phantom beast he worked so hard to find, but was eaten by an unfilial daughter. After the unfilial girl became a super strong person, she also attacked herself with the enemy, and directly lost an emperor's deputy who was stronger than Jin. The most precious phantom beasts are in vain, and the subordinates are all ancient species, common species, and even artificial zone. It is very normal for beasts pirates to be surpassed by red hair pirates. If Kaido is super unlucky, then Khan is super lucky. Even Luo Jia and Luffy, the two sons of destiny, are far inferior to God's love for him. Even if he does not practice like Charlotte Linlin, he will become the overlord of the sea when he plays the Sea Circle calendar in 1520. Moreover, he was a sea overlord stronger than Charlotte Linlin. Because Charlotte Linlin is just a natural destroyer, while Khan is normally a natural destroyer. After using the ability of the Phantom Beast, the Phantom Beast's characteristic of maximizing the physical fitness of the ability user will make Khan's physical fitness become real. Born to be a destroyer. This is not comparable to Charlotte Linlin who ate Paramecia. In addition, Khan also has the innate observation haki, which is no less than listening to the voice of all things, and only the chosen one can have it. These three cheats doomed Khan to become an existence beyond Charlotte Linlin even if he wasted his talents. If Khan works hard and doesn't waste his talents like Charlotte Linlin, becoming the strongest creature in the world is almost a certainty. In addition to his own potential to break through the sky, Khan is also a time traveler, with the advantage of being familiar with the plot. He knows which rare and top-level devil fruits are still unknown during this time period. He also knows where there are good seedlings with extraordinary talents. As long as he takes the time to find them and spend some time pooing them, Khan can keep producing good helpers that Kaido will cry when he sees them. With such an advantage, Khan can raise his left hand even without gems in his hand, and shout, "I is the destiny." Morlaix Island is a very common uninhabited island in New World. This island has no special shape, no special climate on it, and no specialty food that can sell well all over the world. From this point of view, this island is just like an ordinary uninhabited island in the world. However, such an ordinary uninhabited island is a piece of cake in the eyes of the forces second only to the overlord in the New World. The pirates of the New World, as well as the kings of the Dark World, all want to eat this cake, including some affiliated pirate groups under the command of the three overlords. Because this uninhabited island hides underground treasures. This treasure does not refer to gold, silver and jewelry, but minerals. In this war-ridden New World, minerals are worth more than gold. Those who want to guard such a golden mountain and plant a flag on this island must have strong strength and a wide network of contacts. The pirate group that planted its flag on this island is one of the giants in a certain pirate alliance. The name of this pirate group is as simple as the Straw Hat Pirates, called Strong Fist Pirates. The logo of the pirate flag is also a white skull and a huge fist. Through such a name and logo, it can already be seen that the captain of this pirate group is a strong man who is good at physical skills. And indeed it is. The captain of the mighty fist pirates made a name for himself in the New World with a pair of fists, and joined forces with some strong men who are not weaker or slightly inferior to him to form a dark world. An alliance that the king, and even the affiliated pirate group under the overlord of the sea, dare not provoke at will. It is through this alliance and its own strength that the mighty fist pirates can hold the island. The captain of the mighty fist pirates is the one who ate the Paramecia lily fruit and offered a bounty of 800 million Baileys, super strong fist, Omar. This is a pirate that Khan doesn't have any impression of, and apparently didn't appear in the original book. But for his devil fruit, Khan is somewhat impressed. Because the fruit of Paramecia lily is the fruit ability of the captain of the first ship of the Blackbeard pirates, fighting champion, Giza's Badgers. I just don't know. When the later Blackbeard took the Paramecia lily fruit, the owner of this fruit was this guy named Omar, or the next Paramecia lily fruit capable person. Khan thinks that it should be the next ability user. As for why you think so? Because he came. On this day, the mighty fist pirates were mining as usual. Of course, the miners are all minions, such as the captain and cadres, who drink, eat meat, gamble, and play with women in the camp. When the pirates couldn't find a way to go to Raftel, they gradually doubted whether the legendary big secret treasure really existed. After the dream of treasure hunting became the ambition of fighting for hegemony, they could only use this kind of life to satisfy their barren spiritual world. Even Blackbeard, after becoming the Four Emperors, was so depraved. Roar. Just when they were having a great time, a deafening roar suddenly sounded from the sky. What? What sound? What happened? Is there a problem in the mine? Boat. Captain, hurry. Look at the sky. Dragon. It's a giant dragon. The roar was very loud, as if it was exploding in the ears. The invisible sound waves stung the ears, and woke up some pirates who were drinking heavily during the day. Before they could figure out where the loud noise was coming from, a certain cadre suddenly pointed to the sky and said in a trembling voice. Looking in the direction pointed by the cadre, I saw a black shadow covering the sky at an extremely fast speed. This black shadow is a huge blue dragon with a length of 100 meters, 2 wings and 4 legs. Its body exudes a dazzling blue light, falling down like a huge blue meteorite. Looking at the blue dragon that was constantly enlarging in front of his eyes, Omar's face suddenly changed, and he shouted, "Get out of here quickly, it is falling towards us." Hearing this, the cadres who were frightened by the scene of the giant dragon descending woke up one after another, and then fled in embarrassment without any image. Some cadres who were playing with women just now directly abandoned women whose feet were weak and could not run at all. Super strong punch. Omar didn't run away. The cadres did not flee because they would be killed if the dragon fell down. And if he doesn't escape, he has the confidence to save his life, and even fight back and kill the opponent. Casually tearing up the jacket like thin paper, revealing the strong muscles inside, Omar put on a posture of accumulating strength and punching on the spot. Boom. After charging up, Omar immediately blasted his famous blow towards the giant dragon in the sky. A transparent white air cannon suddenly soared into the sky. It is larger than Lu Chi's 6 Kings spear, like the mighty kingdom of giants, colliding with the dragon from bottom to top. However, when the two collided, the scene that Oma was expecting to blast the dragon with a blow did not appear. On the contrary, the air cannon didn't touch the dragon at all, and was blocked by a blue mask that appeared out of thin air. The blue mask is in the shape of a hemisphere, like a shield, which is as strong as the famous blow of the 800 million bounty pirate, but it can't be broken. However, this air cannon is not completely ineffective. The powerful force still removes the falling force that Khan named Dragon God Dive. Khan, who originally used telekinetic power to eliminate the air barrier and let his falling speed be like a meteorite, wanted to wipe out the powerful fist pirates with one blow, had to give up this idea. Boom. When the air cannon disappeared, the hemispherical psychic shield also disappeared. The blue dragon, which had been stagnant in the air for a while, fell heavily to the ground. Not counting the tail, the giant blue dragon standing nearly 100 meters high and weighing an unknown number of tons is like a hill falling from the sky. The moment Setsuna landed, the whole earth shook violently. Where the dragon landed, the ground was even more sunken, and a large number of cracks appeared. Roar. After landing, the giant dragon roared again, and spread its wings tens of meters long, setting off a gust of wind, rolling up endless sand and gravel, and sweeping towards all directions. Omar was also within the submerged range of the high winds. Even he had to cover his eyes with his hands to prevent the gravel from flying into his eyes. And those women whose legs were limp and unable to run were directly swept up by the gust of wind, flying to nowhere, and their life and death were unknown. When the gust dissipated, Omar looked at the blue dragon looking down at him with a pair of narrow red vertical pupils, and couldn't help gritting his teeth. Cross Khan, what do you mean? Obviously, Omar has recognized the identity of this giant dragon. Just like what King Riku said, anyone who has read last month's Shijingbao and this month's 8 trigrams news, it is impossible not to know what Khan's fruit ability is, and the opponent's entry into the new world. Information. What just makes Omar angry is that Khan just entered New World a few days ago, and now he is actually targeting him. Omar is very sure that he is seeing Khan for the first time, and he has no influence in West Blue, so it is absolutely impossible to have conflicts with Khan. In other words, the other party's eyes on him should be the same as other forces, coveting him, an island with a lot of minerals. If I remember correctly, Khan is also the godfather of West Blue's largest mafia, and the other party is likely to be in arms or other businesses. So, he became Khan's first target in New World. It's been a long time since Omar has felt the feeling of being pinched like a soft persimmon, and at this moment his heart is full of anger. But since he was fighting on his home turf, his fight with Khan would surely destroy much of the island. Those crew members who are mining may also be affected to death by their attacks. After thinking that once the war started, even if he successfully repelled the giant dragon, he would suffer heavy losses. No matter how angry Omar was, he could only resist the urge to fight, and wanted to persuade Khan to leave here, even if he paid a little price. Roar. Unfortunately, Khan wasn't even interested in talking to him. Almost the second after Omar questioned, the blue dragon let out another deafening roar. Then Khan raised his huge dragon claws and slammed his fist down on Omar. This punch was very powerful, and the power is at the level of a castle with one punch. As mentioned earlier, when Khan is normal, he is a natural destroyer like Charlotte Linlin. But when he uses the ability of phantom beasts to transform into beast form and human beast form, he is a true-born destroyer. The word, true, can also be understood as a plus sign. If Khan's normal grade is A, then after becoming a dragon, it will be A plus grade. If it's an S rating, it's an S plus rating. This change makes Khan's normal power of breaking a giant's ribs with a single slap, ignoring the hail of bullets. Even if a giant's blade hits his body, his defense, as well as various resistances and endurance, will be broken. Damn brat, you're bullying too much. Seeing that Khan was so arrogant that he didn't want to talk to him, Omar was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. Watching the fists at the same level as the giants fall down, Omar also didn't care about the problem that he would suffer heavy losses after the battle. Now he just wants to use his fists to teach this brat how to respect his seniors. Then, Omar clenched his fists with both hands, and the fists were covered with a layer of black substance that only those who had awakened Haki could see. Then he kicked his feet on the spot, and his whole body turned into an arrow soaring into the sky. Omar's speed is fast, at least faster than Khan's dragon fist. If Omar wanted to, he didn't need to fight Khan's dragon fist at all, and could easily dodge Khan's fist and attack his incredible big target. But Omar didn't do that. As one of the giants of a large pirate alliance, as the captain of one of the New World's large pirate groups, the bounty is as high as 800 million Bailey's big pirate. His pride, as well as his confidence in the fruit of Paramecia Lily, he does not allow himself to compete in strength, and chooses to show weakness to the enemy. Even if that enemy is a legendary phantom beast. After Omar soared into the sky, he directly blasted out his incomparably small fist towards the falling dragon fist. Boom. Super big and super small fists collided together, and there was no one-sided picture. On the contrary, Khan's fist, which was not inferior to a giant in the slightest, fell towards the ground and could easily destroy a castle or a mountain. It was like hitting an indestructible barrier, and suddenly froze in the air. Like his fist, there is also Omar soaring into the sky. The super big and super small fists matched together, and then there seemed to be waves in the air. An astonishing and incomparably monstrous wave just now erupted from the big and small fists under the belated loud noise. A gigantic cyclone immediately spread out from Khan's feet. The airwaves, which are different from the gusts of wind, just blew across the ground and shook the ground with a radius of several hundred meters to pieces. As the gravel shot out, the dust flew up, and the ground that had been sunk in a circle by Khan's impact was sunken in a big circle again. It has to be said that Paramecia Devil Fruit is also one of the top abilities in Paramecia Devil Fruit. Whoever eats this devil fruit will immediately gain the power to move mountains. Traveling to this world for 15 years, since he discovered that his physique is a natural destroyer, and after eating zone, dragon fruit, phantom beast, and dragon form at the age of 10, this is the first time Khan has met him, and he can block himself head on Fistman. Although he didn't use Haki himself, Omar did. But being able to block his own blow can destroy the castle, and the giant will be seriously injured if he hits it, even with a fist that is either dead or maimed, which proves that Omar's 800 million bounty is not worth a bit. As a reward, Khan put away his arrogance and took this predecessor seriously. Swish. I saw Khan's long and narrow red vertical pupils flashing a blue light. The body surface also emitted a faint blue light, and Nyan Libo quickly covered Khan's whole body. Immediately, Omar, who had blocked the dragon's fist with a fist and was quite proud, was about to speak to Khan again, and his face suddenly changed drastically. One is his observation Haki, which seems to predict something. The second is that his body, like Khan's body, was suddenly covered with a layer of blue thought force wave. Nyen Libo was like an invisible rope. As soon as it covered Oma's body, Oma found that he had temporarily lost control of his body. Fortunately, this binding force is very fatal to the weak, but to Omar, it only takes a little effort to break free. The bad thing is, when the strong fight, milliseconds count. Almost as soon as Setsuna restrained Oma with telekinetic power, Khan raised another dragon claw, fisted and bombarded Oma. By the time Omar used Haki and strength to break free from the shackles of telekinetic power, the dragon fist had already filled the entire eye. He didn't have time to gather strength to meet the attack, so he could only use his whole body arm, crossed his hands in front of his chest, and blocked Khan's punch. Boom, Khan's punch was brutal. After hitting Omar head-on, the surrounding air seemed to ripple in circles. The astonishing airwave erupted again. Omar, who was hit by the dragon fist, turned into an afterimage and fell from the sky to the ground like a kite with a broken string. When the Setsuna landed, the whole earth trembled, and there was an astonishingly loud explosion. A large amount of gravel and dust formed a huge dust cloud, which filled the air. From this, it can be seen how amazing power Omar was carrying, and fell to the ground. If you just look at it with the naked eye, now no one knows whether Omar is alive or dead. However, those who own hockey will find that in this cloud of dust, Yudao was originally as dazzling as the sun, and the light suddenly changed from noon to sunset. It can be seen that even if Omar was fully armed, he was seriously injured by Khan's punch. As long as he is not in the air, or breaks free from the shackles of Nien Libo a second or two earlier to buy himself time to accumulate energy, Omar can also offset half or even most of the power of Khan's punch by counter-attacking. However, Omar suffered from insufficient information and was tricked by Khan, who can read people's hearts. The attainments in armament hockey can only be fully armed at best, and Omar has not comprehended the external and internal destruction. With his Paramecia lily fruit, perhaps in terms of strength, he has no fear of Khan, a born destroyer. But the defense is obviously not enough. After all, Paramecia lily fruit is only full of strength, not defense. Just like how he can easily kill enemies with weak defenses in seconds by relying on his power to move mountains. And now, Omar has also experienced the feeling of those opponents before. After the dust dissipated, a larger crater appeared. As for Omar himself, his entire body was embedded in the ground, his hands were shattered and his body was bleeding heavily. But after receiving a punch that even the giants from Khan couldn't bear, he didn't die on the spot. After all, Omar deserved to be a big pirate with a bounty of 800 million. After sensing that Omar had lost the ability to fight, Khan, who opened his mouth wide and was about to deliver a decisive blow, the thought force wave that shone all over his body slowly dissipated. Immediately, Khan's long and narrow red vertical pupils flashed a blue light again. A gust of wind appeared out of nowhere, blowing away the dust cloud from the bottom of the crater. The blue Nien Libo once again covered Omar's whole body, like an invisible big hand, pulling him out of the ground and lifting him up into the air. Forgive me. Floating in front of Khan, Omar, whose mouth was bleeding continuously, pleaded all over his face, and begged for mercy in a difficult tone. I would like to present the banner of Strong Fist Pirates, please. Please spare my life. Presenting the flag represents surrender. Omar's implication is that he is willing to bring the Strong Fist Pirates to become Khan's subsidiary force. This kind of joining if you can't beat it, or offering your loyalty to buy your life, is a very common thing in New World. Generally, when faced with such a request from the loser, the winner will choose to agree. If there is an extra thug with a bounty of 800 million, even the three monsters will be moved by it. However, Khan raised his huge dragon claws, made a gesture of snapping his fingers at Omar, glanced at the blue sky inadvertently, and finally said, "Sorry. If it is a few years later, maybe I will be very heartbroken, but now, your death is more important to me." After finishing speaking, Khan snapped his fingers lightly. Under the wind control of telekinesis, Khan directly popped out a huge wind blade. Puff. The size of the wind blade is even more exaggerated than the sword hero's flying slash. It split Oma's body in two in an instant, and flew several thousand meters away, cutting off a mountain on the island. Roar. After killing the New World big pirate with a bounty of 800 million with a snap of his fingers, Khan did not change back to human form, but let out another deafening roar. Then the wings on the back spread, and the 100-meter dragon soared into the sky. Flying several hundred meters into the air, Khan watched a pirate ship sailing away from the island, and slowly opened his mouth. Swish. The blue light, which represents the power of thought, shines again. The whole body exudes blue light, and the blue sky dragon with its own special effects, with its wide open mouth, suddenly gathers white light waves. This white wave of light is the power of the wind. Under the control of telekinesis, the wind power from all directions gathered in front of Khan's dragon's mouth one after another, as if attracted by a magnet, and compressed to form a white light wave. After charging up, Khan sprayed a huge white beam of light towards the pirate ship sailing away from the island from a long distance away. This move is really the breath of the heavenly dragon, also known as the roar of the heavenly dragon. Boom, the power of the wind is very fast, and the speed of the wind beam is even faster. Khan wasn't targeting the pirate ship, just the waters around it. When the beam of light fell on the sea, it immediately burst into dazzling white light, flooding the pirate ship not far away. A hemispherical white mask, like a mushroom cloud, rises from the sea. Hoo hoo. Then the sound of howling ghosts and howling wolves was heard by Khan from a long distance away, making it extremely harsh. In that sea area, let alone. Like a hurricane passing by, the island of Morlaix was close to the coast of that sea area. The waves became extremely violent, and all the trees on the island bowed down. After the white mask disappeared, a huge Uzumaki appeared in that sea area. As for the pirate ship, it completely disappeared. I don't know whether it was caught by Uzumaki or smashed into powder by the force of the wind. After destroying the mighty fist pirates, with overwhelming power, Khan flapped his wings and flew back in the direction of Dressrosa. Rumbling. At the same time, the island of Morlaix below also shook violently. After a while, this island, which was regarded as a piece of cake in the eyes of the major forces in the New World, broke free from gravity and floated into the sky. The island flew at low altitude and followed closely behind Tianlong. This scene was all photographed by a newsbird hovering in the sky. After freezing the image of the island and Tianlong flying together in the camera, Newsbird also put the camera back into the letterbox that he carried with him and flew in the opposite direction. The strongest supernova in history raided the island of Morlaix, where the strong fist pirates had the flag and killed super powerful fist Omar with a bounty of 800 million Baileys in an almost instant kill. The big news that the mighty fist pirates were destroyed and Morlaix Island was taken away as a trophy. I believe it will soon spread throughout the New World, and even the whole world. And this is what Khan said to Omar. Your death is more important to me. Because Khan desperately needs a reputation right now, a reputation of savagery. The next day, before Khan returned to Dressrosa with Morlaix, the news about his team destroying the strong fist pirates had already spread throughout the world. The destruction of the mighty fist pirates, the first battle of Walking Scourge, cross Khan's New World. It's still Shijingbao, and it's still the headlines. And this time the news headlines, photos and content took up 2 pages. In other words, the headlines of today's Shijingbao are equivalent to half of today's news content. This shows how willing Morgans is to make stars. It seems to know that except for New World, other sea areas have little impression of strong fist pirates and super powerful Omar. At the beginning of the news, Morgans did not go straight to the topic, but popularized the strong fist pirates and super strong fist Omar to the people of the world, and also posted a reward order for Omar. The country folks who read the news realized that in addition to the 3 big monsters in the King of the Dark World, the New World also had the Pirate Alliance. And this mighty fist pirates is actually one of the giants of a large alliance. The captain even ate the Paramecia lily fruit, and the big pirate with a bounty of 800 million Baileys. However, such a big pirate was actually killed by Cross Khan, who had just entered New World and had a bounty of only 300 million Baileys in 3 moves. When reading this text, many people who think that a high bounty is a strong person subconsciously became suspicious. Morgans also seemed to have guessed what these people were thinking, and posted 6 photos next to this text. Among the 6 photos, the first one is the scene of Tianlong and Omar fighting. The second photo is a picture of Omar lying under the crater with serious injuries. In the third photo, Omar was lifted into the air by the power of thought, floating in front of the mountain like dragon. In the fourth photo, Tianlong raised his dragon claws and made a gesture of snapping his fingers at Omar. The fifth photo is a picture of Omar being split into 2 by the wind blade. The last 6th picture is a scene where the angle of view is zoomed out, and Tianlong pops out a wind blade to cut off a mountain. Those who saw this group of photos were stunned and felt that their worldview had been shattered. The strong ones fell into silence. Especially the pirates of New World felt a bit of fear. Because they saw the back of the news, Tianlong used the breath group to destroy the strong fist pirates, created a huge Uzumaki, and finally left the island with a picture. With less than 10 photos, Morgans, the #1 reporter in the world, used excellent writing and photos to make the whole world feel the oppression of phantom beasts. From the beginning to the end, Walking Scourge Cross Khan is showing the power of terror. If his enemy is an unknown and weak person, or someone who doesn't know what to do, the shocking effect of such a scene may be greatly reduced. However, Morgans paved the way at the beginning of the news, popularizing the strong fist pirates and super strong fist Omar to the world, maximizing the shock of the world. After reading today's news headlines, those pirates who originally had thoughts about Khan all felt a bit of fear. Fortunately, they haven't acted yet, otherwise, they might have been wiped out by that monster just like the strong fist pirates. Just like that classic saying, if I kill the strongest man in the world, then I will be the new strongest man in the world. The defeat of the original Kaido and Charlotte Linlin, their bounty was directly divided by the 3 captains of the Generation of Evil. The Straw Hat Boy who defeated Kaido, one-on-one, also suddenly became the new 4 emperors. Decades of accumulated honor were ruthlessly snatched away just because they lost to a junior who was not equal to him. This is New World strength first, the strong respect. Similarly, Omar also used the honors he had accumulated over the years to help Khan prove himself in New World. Before that, Khan was just the strongest supernova in history who had not yet entered the Grand Line, but was offered a bounty of 300 million Baileys just because he had the template of the 2 monsters in the title of West Blue Overlord. But that's all. Without proving themselves on the Grand Line, the road to the strong, those guys who believe in seeing is believing will not be convinced by Khan, and even want to take his head to make a name for the world. After killing super powerful Fist, Omar, Khan instantly transformed from a rookie who hadn't proven himself in the Grand Line to one of the biggest pirates in the strongest sea New World. And this is an officially recognized big pirate. Because in the afternoon when Shijingbao spread all over the world, Naval Headquarters also issued a new reward order for Khan. Walking Calamity, Cross Khan, Bounty, 1,055 million Baileys, regardless of life or death. The avatar of the reward order is still the same as Khan last year. But the bounty has skyrocketed from 9 figures to 10 figures. Billion. This is a symbol of the extreme danger of the powerful Yamato, and it is also a watershed in the pirate world. The bounty of the big pirate may not be 1 billion Baileys. For example, Sir Crocodile of the first batch of Shichibukai, his bounty is only 80 million Baileys. There is also Gecko Moria, whose bounty is also fixed at 320 million Baileys. The bounties offered by the great pirates are not necessarily all at the billion level. But the pirate with a bounty of 1 billion must be a big pirate recognized by the world. And now, Khan is just such a big pirate. Killed the big pirate with a bounty of 800 million in an almost instant kill, and a breathing group destroyed the Mighty Fist Pirates, and then took the island where the Mighty Fist Pirates flagged as a trophy. This kind of strength and threat made Khan's reputation spread all over the world with the help of Morgans. As the first naval headquarters to know that Khan has become popular, it is very clear that Khan's strength is at the level of 10-digit bounty. In the eyes of Kong and Sengoku, a billion may be less. If Khan hadn't killed so many CP agents and Marine, and beside him, there would be Nico Robin, the son of the devil, that the world government wanted to get or kill. In fact, in the eyes of 5 elders, Khan is the most suitable candidate for Shichibukai. If he didn't have Nico Robin by his side, the 5 elders would have sent him a Shichibukai invitation even after he'd killed so many agents and Marines. Khan knew that he would be famous, but he didn't know that his bounty had suddenly increased from 300 million Baileys to 1 billion Baileys. Enter New World, after encountering the first attack of idiots. Khan knew that there were newsbirds following them all the time in the sky. Whether it is Khan or Hancock, their only perception, has discovered this. But Khan didn't take action to deal with these alternative paparazzi, and told Hancock not to do it. One is that these newsbirds will only take out their cameras to shoot when they make a move, which will not affect the daily life of Khan and his group. 2 is this guy Morgans, he's a talent. Obviously just an ordinary ability user in the form of Zone, Birdfruit, and Albatross. Morgans froze to play tricks on this fruit ability, and domesticated a surprising number of newsbirds that can control public opinion in the sea. With these newsbirds and his own pen, Morgans has gradually become one of the kings of the dark world from a reporter. News written by him will attract huge attention all over the world. Therefore, Morgans has the world's #1 star-making ability. When a person is touted by him, he will quickly become the most dazzling new star in the world. Luffy in the original book was touted by him, and the bounty rose directly from 500 million berries to 1.5 billion berries, and he was called the 5th Emperor of the Sea. When he deliberately smears a person, for example, he wants to smear King Neo's image, saying that he is a tyrant. Except for the people of Dressrosa and those who are familiar with King Riku who don't believe it, people all over the world will have preconceived ideas. Some people think that King Riku is a tyrant. Use the pen as a gun and words as bullets. A pen of Morgans, a piece of news, can kill a person. With a talent like this, Khan doesn't want to offend. Because of the future development of the Cross family, Morgan's help may be needed in many places. Therefore, Khan turned a blind eye to Newsbird's tracking. Not only that, but Khan also used Newsbird to help him achieve a purpose and send a gift to Morgans to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And this purpose, of course, is the current battle of fame. Super powerful Fist, Omar is Khan's carefully selected target from New World's pirate power map. To become one of the overlords of the New World, Khan needs territory and business. Both of these things, Khan needs to grab. And you can't snatch it secretly, you must show your strength and grab it openly. Otherwise, those greedy wolves only know that you stolen. the cake from somewhere, and then they want to come over to share a piece of the pie. No matter how clever the stealing is, it is far inferior to the violent robbing. Only by showing one's strength can one be able to frighten those idiots who are obviously not strong enough, but who are full of confidence in themselves and are very greedy. If the target of the robbery is a big pirate who has already proven himself in New World, then this effect will be doubled again. Therefore, Khan did not foolishly break into the Overlord territory to challenge the Overlord to prove himself. That is a very stupid approach. Only an idiot who has not yet recognized his own strength will use this method to prove himself. For example, Sir Crocodile and Gecko Moria exist like this. As a time traveler, Khan has long had a very clear understanding of his own strength. Born with the world's top physical fitness, after eating Zone Dragon Fruit Phantom Beast Dragon form, Khan is still the first existence in the sea even if he is still young, even if he does not practice. The gap between him and those superpowers standing on the highest peak in the world is only the capacity of Haki and the advanced use of Haki. As for the gap in combat experience, not at all. With Khan who can see through people's hearts, he doesn't need to accumulate so-called combat experience. Unless his enemy has mastered the Ultra Instinct, similar to the Dragon Ball Superworld, which allows the body to attack and defend instinctively without using the brain. Otherwise, anyone fighting Khan, no matter what tricks he wants to use, and wherever he wants to attack Khan, he will not be able to escape Khan's eyes. Moreover, this kind of ability possessed by the Chosen One cannot be resisted by Wisdom Killer. Because Khan's ability to read people's hearts is a passive ability that will be activated 24 hours a day, and even he himself cannot turn it off. This is why the Red Earl is so withdrawn. The Red Earl is different from Khan. Khan is a time traveler. He was an adult in his previous life. His 3 views have already been fixed. With this kind of mind-reading ability, he will not be affected in any way. And the Red Earl started as a child. At the beginning, his heart was like a blank sheet of paper, and he was easily influenced by ugly people. This is the reason why Observation Haki is one of Khan's 3 major plugins. Combat experience is the biggest advantage that the seniors can crush the juniors. And this biggest advantage doesn't work on Khan. Once Haki capacity and advanced utilization catch up with these predecessors, Khan can be like Luffy, who has been a pirate king since he was a teenager. Closer to home, Khan used the newsbird to show the power of natural disasters. The purpose of destroying the strong fist pirates in a few strokes is to make the New World pirates in the world think that this is a very cruel guy. He doesn't accept surrender, and if he makes a move, the group will be wiped out. If you dare to provoke this monster, you must be prepared for death, or even for the entire army to be wiped out. Only by earning their reputation can the Cross family do business in New World safely. In the future, no one would dare to rob and provoke a sailboat flying the flag of the Cross family when it sailed out to sea. That's what Khan is for. Clearly, Khan's purpose was very successful. Except for the 3 overlords, the rest of the pirates may not dare to have bad thoughts about Khan and the Cross family for a long time in the future. Gu-la-la-la. The Moby Dick moored in a certain sea area. Now Whitebeard, who still has dazzling blonde hair and is firmly seated on the world's strongest throne, looked at today's Shijingbao, and couldn't help but let out a unique laugh, and commented, "What a sharp-edged kid, but it's a bit of a reflection of Linlin and Kaido when they were young." Cross Khan. This is a guy who will envy and hate anyone who sees it. Margao, who was pouring wine for his father, sighed slightly. The physique of that woman in Big Mom. I thought it was the only one in the world, but I didn't expect that after only 2 eras, a newborn destroyer appeared. What's even more frightening is that the natural destroyer of this new era, like me, ate phantom beasts that are rarer than Logia. And unlike me who needs to grow up, this monster who was born with the world's top physical fitness will become a perfect body immediately after becoming a Tianlong. Such a monster is simply the son of the world. Chaozi, who was not far away, also held today's Shijingbao in his hand, looked at the photo on the headline, and said with a complicated expression, "Super powerful fist. Omar. This Paramecia Lily fruit ability user. His power not inferior to me, even better than me." But Cross Khan took this guy in 3 moves. The natural destroyer of the new era, his strength is far above mine. And without armament Haki who has mastered the level of internal destruction, our dad's fruit ability that can ignore the appearance and directly hurt the inside, no one can break his defense. This guy, I'm afraid it won't take a few years for him to become a monster at the level of Big Mom and Kaido. Not only the officers of the Whitebeard pirates, but the rest of the crew are also discussing Khan. Among them, the vast majority of people are full of envy, jealousy and hatred towards Khan. Especially those who have experienced many battles and gained their current strength through hard work, they can't wait to replace Khan. If they were born with the world's top physical fitness and ate phantom beasts that were rarer than Logia when they were young, they must be more successful than Khan. This is what they only know, that Khan has the physique of a natural destroyer in the form of a phantom beast, a dragon. If you let them know that besides these two cheats, Khan also has the same natural observation hockey as the Red Earl, they will definitely go crazy with jealousy. Mama, isn't it natural for such a physique to achieve such an achievement at such a young age? In the Cake Island of the Toto Land Kingdom, Charlotte Linlin looked at today's Shijingbao, first laughed proudly, and then said with a little pity, "If it weren't for my mother, I would have already been a capable person, and I wouldn't have given that devil fruit to you, Kaido." In this world, the ability that is most compatible with our natural destroyers is the Phantom Beast. I really want to have a baby with him. Oh la la. Well done, this is the sense of oppression of Phantom Beasts. Oni Island, Kaido praised with a newspaper in one hand and a wine gourd in the other, with a drunken blush on his face. In words, he made no secret of his love for Khan. If he didn't know that people like Khan would never submit to others, and he was not absolutely sure of taking Khan down, Kaido would now wish to become a green dragon and capture Khan back as his deputy captain. Woo woo woo. Thinking of this, Kaido immediately covered his face and burst into tears. Such behavior left the subordinates speechless. After more than a month, Khan once again caused a sensation all over the world. This time, even the three major overlords participated in the discussion and gave Khan a very high evaluation. Even the overlord paid attention to Khan, not to mention other pirates. In just one battle, Khan not only established himself as a villain, but also consolidated his status as the great pirate of the New World. For a long time to come, there won't be any self-assured idiots bothering Khan's gang. Khan also gave Robin's 4 daughters time to develop, and they were able to gradually improve the background of the Cross family. When they grow up and do not need Khan to do everything by themselves, the Cross family can expand and develop, challenge the highest peak in the world, and become another overlord standing on the top of the mountain. On the second day, Khan finally returned to Dressrosa with Morlaix. Floating islands did not cause panic-stricken disturbances in Dressrosa. Because after the news spread all over the world yesterday, King Riku also saw the photo of Khan leaving with an island. He also knew that this island should be the future headquarters of the Cross family. Therefore, King Riku notified the citizens in advance that Dressrosa will reach a long-term cooperation with the Cross family. Walking Scourge, Cross Khan will pay and hire Dressrosa to help them build the island. If you have no money, or feel that your salary is low, you can join the national construction team for training. Hearing the news, the citizens burst into cheers. But what they cheered was not that they could make money, but that their king had actually established a long-term cooperative relationship with such a great pirate. Doesn't that mean that until their collaboration ends, Dressrosa will be under the protection of Cross Khan, the Walking Scourge? Obviously there is naval headquarters, but secretly there is the protection of the Cross family. Isn't this too safe? This news soon reached the ears of Marine and even the world government. Marine and world government just turned a blind eye to the cooperation between the franchise countries and the pirates. Marine has no right to meddle in its own business. They can't even build a marine base in the capital of the franchise country, otherwise the pirates will not dare to go to the island for consumption. Even if Marine enters a franchise country, if there is no advance notice, they cannot even take the initiative to catch pirates. The consumption of pirates can boost their country's economy. Only by improving the economy can you pay the heavens and the gold. After paying the heavenly gold, Marine can get the military expenses from the world government. Pirates make money by burning, killing, and looting, while Marines rely on the military expenditures given by the world government. What kind of irony is this? Marine, who cannot be independent, has such an embarrassing status. As for the world government, let alone. As long as the king does not become a pirate and does not send a signal for help to the world government, he will pay the gold every year on time. Not to mention cooperating with pirates, even if they do some illegal business secretly, the world government will turn a blind eye. After all, everyone has to eat. Khan, is this your prize? Khan had just placed Morlaix next to Dressrosa, and flew back to Dressrosa's shores, when transforming from a dragon back into human form. Hancock was the first to use teleportation to appear beside Khan, and the second person to arrive here was not Robin and Sonia, but Scarlet. Looking across the coast at Morlaix Island, which is only separated by a long river, Scarlet couldn't help asking, "Do you want to establish the headquarters of the Cross family on this island?" No, however, Khan shook his head and said with a smile, "The headquarters of the Cross family is not this island, but another one. But this island has an astonishing amount of minerals. I will build a factory here to produce other things." I see. Scarlet was slightly taken aback. Not long after, Robin and the others rushed over from the flower field. "Master, welcome back." Robin greeted Khan first, then turned his head to look over his left shoulder, and said with a smile, "Manchueli, don't you want to see the master these days? Why are you so shy now?" That. Hearing Robin's words, a small head suddenly popped out of Robin's strapless cuff, looked at Khan timidly, and greeted Khan as thin as a mosquito. "Ka. Master Khan, you it is good. Little people." Khan's eyes lit up immediately, and he responded enthusiastically, "Nice to meet you, Manchueli." At the same time, Khan secretly gave Robin a thumbs up in his heart. "As expected of you, you are so reliable." When asking Robin to meet the little people, Khan just mentioned casually, asking Robin to have a good relationship with the princess of the little people. He didn't tell Robin that Manchueli would be a member of their family in the future, and also the ship's doctor of the Cross family. Unexpectedly, Robin has not only established a good relationship with the princess of the little human race, but also brought her out of the Dongtada kingdom. Khan's natural observation Haki clearly sensed that there was only Manchueli, a small human being present. In other words, the little people did not send guards to protect the princess. In the original book, Leo, who had a childhood sweetheart relationship with Manchueli, didn't follow her either. Just let the princess come out with a pirate. I have to say, the heart of the little people is really big. No wonder their weakness is innocence and kindness, and it is easy to believe other people's lies. But at the same time, this is also a manifestation of Robin's charm and ability. Obviously, Robin has perfectly completed the task arranged by Khan. She not only gained the favor of the little people, but also successfully became friends with the princess of the little people, and also told Manchueli about Khan's deeds. 4-year-old Manchueli is full of curiosity about Khan. Looking at the smiling Khan, Manchueli seemed to feel his kindness, and the inner tension slowly dissipated. After knowing that Khan, like Robin, is a kind and gentle person, Manchueli also lost the shyness just now, and looked at Khan carefully. Khan also came over and chatted with Manchueli with a gentle smile. After a few words, Khan managed to touch Manchueli's head with his fingers under her timid gaze. Then, seeing through the movement of the heart, Khan immediately read the memories of the few years that Manchueli had just come into this world. Soon, Khan grasped Shirley's interests and hobbies, and knew how to get along with her. Meanwhile, Khan also received good news. That is Manchueli and Leo. When they were 3 years old, they had already become demon fruit power. But they didn't know that what they ate was devil fruit, they just called the healing ability and the ability to sow the fruit thaumaturgy. But now, Manchueli already knows that she is a demon fruit power. The reason she became friends with Robin so quickly was because she adored Robin. Robin's gentle and calm personality, rich knowledge, and wonderful experiences all make Manchueli admire her very much. Like Scarlet, she is also looking forward to the overseas world. In the past few days, Manchueli has been pestering Robin, asking her to tell herself about the outside world and those wonderful adventures. It is also through Robin's narration that Manchueli is full of curiosity about Rolando, the hero who saved Robin and proved that the villain is not Khan, who is a big talker. After digesting this information, Khan has already thought of how to quickly improve Manchueli's favor. Of course, Khan is not in a hurry to act immediately. The little people are easy to deceive, as long as they treat people with sincerity, even if they get along normally, Manchueli will become a member of the family, which is a certainty. During the chat, Khan and his group returned to the Grandine in Hawaii. Then Scarlet asked if Khan knew he was making a splash again. By seeing through people's hearts, Khan immediately understood, but on the surface, he showed a hint of doubt in cooperation. Seeing this, Scarlet immediately looked excited, took out the Shijing newspaper and reward order, and handed them to Khan. 1,055,000,000 Baileys. Khan glanced at the brand new reward order, and slightly raised the corner of his mouth. This price should be able to scare those idiots, right? Then I can leave New World temporarily with peace of mind. Hearing this, Scarlet's beautiful eyes lit up and said, Khan, are you leaving New World? What? Khan nodded and said, I'm going to go back to West Blue in a while, arrange some things, and maybe go to other sea areas. Then can you take me with you? Scarlet immediately asked expectantly. Manchueli, who was sitting on Robin's fragrant shoulder, also looked at Khan with her beautiful eyes shining slightly. No problem. Khan had this in mind, and said, as long as your father agrees, you and your sister can leave with me, and Manchueli is the same. With the last words, Khan smiled slightly at Manchueli on Robin's shoulder. Great, then I'll go back and convince my father now. Scarlet immediately cheered, then got up to say hello to Khan and his group, and walked down the boat ladder with the hem of her skirt. Seeing Her Royal Highness getting off the boat, because of Scarlet's request, Cyrus, who was protecting her 100 meters away from Scarlet, reappeared. Master, are we going to West Blue? After Scarlet left, Mary, who hadn't been to Khan's hometown yet, also said with her beautiful eyes shining. Khan nodded, and then said with a meaningful smile, I'm going back to West Blue to move some things over, but I'm not in a hurry for now, I'll help you improve your strength first. Wanokuni is a country located in a special sea area. There is no coast of the open sea here, only cliffs and waterfalls. No matter entering or leaving, it is a huge challenge. Thanks to such a natural environment, even the world government and naval headquarters know that most of the sea stones all over the world are born in this country, and they dare not send troops to attack here. Yes. Dare not know hundreds of years ago, countless pirates in the world government tried to occupy this country known as the Golden Country. But there was one person who, with a single black knife, repelled all the incoming enemies. And that person is Shimotsuki Ryoma, who is regarded as sword god and dragon-slaying warrior. With his black sword and swordsmanship, Ryoma let the whole world know that there are samurai in Wanokuni. Like Daughter Island, which is located in a windless zone, it has natural environmental protection, a very complete hockey system, and a large number of swordsmen. Even though the country has been closed for hundreds of years, Wanokuni is still one of the world's recognized powers. Especially in the last era, a samurai came out of this country, boarded the Moby Dick and the Oro Jackson successively, and became one of the main forces of the Whitebeard Pirates and Luogia Pirates, making the world even more convinced. Of course, few people in this world know about it. One of the powerful countries in this new world is already a territory secretly controlled by Kaido. As the three monsters with the least strength and the weakest background, Kaido was able to catch up with the big sister and big brother because he occupied this huge treasure mountain. A huge amount of sea stone and other minerals, as well as cold weapons produced by world-class swordsmiths, have made Kaido a lot of money. Even if this country has been sucked by Kaido for 20 years, it has not been drained dry. Also, no one knows. According to legend, Pluto, one of the three ancient weapons dubbed the title of God, is hidden on this island. The title of Golden Country is indeed worthy of the name. With the death of Kazuki Oden, Wanokuni began 2 decades of hell on Earth. On this day, no one noticed that a few outsiders quietly came to this hell on Earth. These people are the 4 daughters of Khan and Robin. Master, is the thing you said that can help us reduce our efforts for several years, or even 10 years, on this island. After landing, Mary first asked questions, then looked at her clothes, and complained. This kind of clothes are so awkward, and these shoes called clogs, can you really fight in them? I saw the Khan group at this time, all wearing Wanokuni-style kimonos and geta. Be patient. Find the person in the intelligence and help you improve your strength, then we will leave here. Khan smiled and rubbed Mary's head. Well, I see. Mary nodded slightly, she was just complaining. Because the 9 snake warriors will wear very revealing clothes for the convenience of fighting. After becoming Khan's maids, the black and white maid outfits they wear are also the ones with bare shoulders. After getting used to those easy-to-move clothes, suddenly wearing a complicated kimono and clogs that are different from high-heeled shoes, Mary will feel uncomfortable, which is a very normal thing. Not to mention Mary, even Hancock, Robin, and Sonia are not used to it. It's just that they didn't say it. After appeasing Mary, Khan took the 4 daughters of Robin and walked towards the place where a large amount of breath gathered, preparing to find someone who could help the 4 daughters of Robin reduce their efforts by several years, or even more than 10 years. And that person is Eren, who ate paramecia ripe fruit. Yes, Khan is going to cheat on Robin's 4 daughters, that is, age cheating. If you want to improve your strength quickly for several years, or even more than 10 years, only devil fruit can do it in this world. The 8-year-old Momonosuke in the original book is a miscellaneous fish among miscellaneous fish. Even if it eats the artificial phantom beast species, the dragon it turns into is still a loach. However, after being ripened to the age of 28 by Eren with paramecia ripe fruit, Momonosuke suddenly gained the power to bite Kaido, hold up Onishima, and embarrass the Green Bull. Even incarnate as a dragon, the volume has changed from a loach to a full-bodied giant dragon. In just a short while, Momonosuke, whose strength was so trash that he could no longer be trash, sacrificed 20 years of his life in exchange for the strength of a new world monster. Is it worth it? If it was in the peaceful age of Khan's previous life, it must have been a huge loss. But in this dangerous pirate world, it is very worthwhile. Even breathing is a sin for the weak. How much blood and tears do you need to pay to become strong? As for Momonosuke, tears flowed in more than one lake, but not a drop of blood flowed. It was all the retainers of the Straw Hat Pirates in the Kazuki family who helped him charge forward. If you don't have a lot of experience, you can exchange 20 years of youth for monster-level power, and you're making a lot of money. Similarly, for the 4 Robin girls who are still young, it is definitely worth sacrificing a few years of life in exchange for corresponding strength. Especially beside them, and Khan, the time traveler, it is even more worthwhile. If this world doesn't have things and abilities to live forever, knowing that a woman's youth is limited, Khan would rather develop insignificantly for a few years and grow up with Robin's 4 daughters than let them sacrifice their lives in exchange for strength. However, Khan knows that there are immortals in this world, and they also have the ability to make people eternal youth, or immortality, and there is more than one kind. That's why Khan is willing to give Robin's 4 daughters such an age-related license. And to get those things, Khan alone is not enough, he needs the 4 daughters of Robin to help him. Of course, Khan will not force each of them to disclose their age. If some of them don't want to sacrifice life in exchange for strength, Khan will not force it. After all, coming here this time is not just to give them a hook. So, on the way to an unknown city in Wanokuni, Khan told the 4 daughters of Robin all the words he had prepared. The ability to ripen people and increase their biological age? When the 4 daughters of Robin heard Khan's words, they couldn't help being stunned for a while. Although they already know that devil fruit has all kinds of strange abilities. However, this ability to ripen people from 1 year old to 10 years old, or even 10 years old to dozens or 100 years old, and it can never be reversed, still refreshed the worldview of the 4 Robin girls. So, what's your choice? Khan looked at the 4 daughters of Robin with a smile. Of course I would. It wasn't Robin who spoke first, but Hancock. She nodded without hesitation, and said excitedly, I can't wait to grow up now, so that I can share the pressure for you, master.